Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Hello.
We're going to start the show as we usually start the show, and that's by giving a shout out to our Patreon producers. They went full Nels. Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, and Rob Nesband Piggott.
What was that?
They are the Full Nels crew. What, Gazman?
Gasman.
There's two S's and two N's.
Pretty sure it's just Gasman.
Yeah, but he's added an extra. He's put the
Is that what you generally use when
you
hear, like, you know, the word like bass? Do you say bass?
Yeah. I know, you see, Dave, it sounded like there was something wrong with your audio.
It sounded like there was actually two A's, not two S's.
Right, okay. I have 1 week off and you'll come back flinging fists at me. What's
Very,
going on,
mate?
boys? Settle down.
Very rusty, David.
Settle down.
We've all got ideas above our
Settle
station
down,
now.
boys. Just remember.
Yeah, in fact, I think Sean said the whole section was going to be changed in a different order.
Yeah,
Didn't you say that, Sean?
yeah. That was the... well, I suggested it and no one seemed bothered, so...
Some ideas.
How long has it been since we were all together? This is weird. Not used to this.
It has been. Jesus, yeah. I've not spoken to James in ages.
I think it was the launch of the
excited.
360.
But we're back, all four of us. That's good. And I was worried that I was going to have to miss next week's show, but so far, that is not looking likely. So it's, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. If you would like to support us, you can do on patreon.com/TCGS. You can go the Full Nels crew and get your name read out at the start, like all those lovely people then. Or you can, sign up for less and get a bonus podcast. That came out last week. That was an interesting one where where James watched a bunch of Pixar films and told us what he thought. I mean... I say he told us what he thought. He said about 3 words about the film, and then I spoke for about 15 minutes after each one that we brought up. That was my bad. But we also, had a few Christmas memories in there as well, didn't we?
It was nice. I like that. It's
little
got me, and
lane.
obviously it's a bit soon to get Christmassy, but it just made me look forward to it a bit more. So that was nice.
That's good.
Yeah,
really?
you say it's a bit soon. Like, I'm not sure if you think the same, but I feel like I'm seeing a lot of Christmas decorations up now in people's houses.
People just want to change. They just want to change.
Shit, we're like, fuck it, I'll just get Christmas started early.
I can't hate anyone for doing that.
No, I think it must be
certainly
that.
not this year.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a dispute at home about this because the kids wanted to start putting it up, and I'm like, no, it's too early.
Oh, for God's sake, James.
And James is just the worst.
It's fine.
Whole pandemic. They went months without seeing their friends. The one thing they've got to look forward to, and James is going, it's too early. No, take it down.
It's all right. We compromised. It was fine.
Well, what was that? You said, yes, we will put them up Christmas Eve.
They've decorated their rooms, but we're not decorating the rest of the house yet. It's too soon.
Okay, all right. That's not a bad compromise, I don't think. Yeah. I mean, a bit mean-spirited.
James is like, you can celebrate Christmas early, but I just don't want to see it.
Keep it away. It gets earlier and earlier every year,
He ain't coming. He's not allowed to come. They said on the news.
Social distance Santa. It's not happening.
Right. Okay. So that's the Patreon bit done. Should we get a feedback? Do you want to hear what I had to say about last week's show?
Yes, I'd love to hear your notes, David.
Can't wait.
It's
all positive.
I only had 2 notes. It was a really good show last week. I enjoyed it. Thank you for that.
Guilty.
No, thank you for that. I had 2 notes. The first being rinsing. I'll take that on board. I'll take it on board. When it comes to washing up, I'll keep that in the old brain box when I'm doing the washing up.
Yeah. There was more discussion in the week on Twitter. All sorts of surprises. People saying, yeah, you should do cutlery. Basically, the people saying, yeah, you do like glass and then like plates and stuff. I'm like, no, you should probably do glass then cutlery.
I can't be bothered to go into all that. But I will turn around and say it was a bit weird how you were saying there's still bits of food on the plate. And I'm like, no, you rinse before and you get all the food. No,
we're talking particles, not actual lumps.
Yeah.
I mean, to be clear, right? Obviously, Dave and his family are alive, right? So whatever he's doing is clearly sanitary. So
it's okay. I'm doing all right. But don't you? Isn't that part of washing? Getting all that stuff off, getting the particles off. Running a bit of cold water over the top ain't going to do much, is it?
Well, the point. No, we're not discussing this again.
Don't you scrub your plates?
No, it's not that. It's the soap
we're not getting into
afterwards.
this. We're not getting into this.
Yeah, it's the suds.
We're not getting into this. Yeah, it's the suds. Okay.
I mean, we haven't
right.
got into it.
I will say this as well. The only other point I had to make about last week's show. So James wasn't on last week.
Yeah.
No, James was on last week, but he wasn't on the week before, and he wasn't on the week before that. That's 3 weeks of gaming that he hasn't reported back to us on the podcast. And all he had to talk about was Knack 2.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me, James?
I've been away. I didn't have the opportunity.
There's no way you weren't. There's no way you didn't play anything else. Here's my prediction: you were getting tired and bored, or bored, one or two, and you just I can't be bothered to go into the games I want to talk about. Almost sure of that. There's no way in 3 weeks you just played Knack 2.
I mean, to be fair, Dave, James was away, and they haven't invented like consoles you can take away and play outside of the house yet, have they? So.
You know he takes the Switch with him as well.
Yeah, I know, but look, you're not going to want to hear about like Phoenix Wright again, are you? It's boring.
When I drove to, why are you playing that again? Why do you keep playing Phoenix Wright over and over?
No, I went through the original trilogy again. Like, not
why? Yeah, again.
You know
how many
what
times have you done
happens?
that?
Several times, and it's like usually by the time that I get to the third game, I've forgotten most of it anyway. So it's fine.
What a weird thing to do.
I like those games. I like those games. What's wrong with that?
So do I. I think they're great, but I ain't playing them over and over and over again. You know the story. You know everything. You know all the puzzles.
I really wish they released the others on it, but they won't. It's really annoying.
I hope for your sake they don't, because that's just going to make the whole journey through all the series even longer for you, isn't it? And then what are we going to get at the end of it? Knack 3, probably, on the podcast. Brilliant. Right, okay, so that's my feedback. Let's get back to the listeners. I assume they all hated it this last week, did they?
Actually,
hated it?
Many of them said it's possibly one of the greatest episodes of a podcast.
I didn't see any of those. I didn't see any of those
they
messages.
They all went to us privately because they didn't want to embarrass you, but it was...
Did they?
There was lots of them. Sounds
like bullshit.
No, it was real. Last week we spoke about an open world Mario Kart, and Adam and plenty of others had the same amount of feedback, and it's this. What would you call an open world Mario Kart where you drive around and find courses and characters and that? Diddy Kong Racing.
Was I the first to text you?
I was going to say,
you
to be fair,
were the
Dave
first,
mentioned
and had
this.
a lot of other tweets.
Yeah.
I put a message out and I thought, I understand when the listeners are sitting there just thinking, what the fuck are they doing? There's such an obvious answer here and they haven't picked up on it. What are they doing? And so I thought, no, I'm not going to put a message in the group because that's just annoying. That's just annoying. And I thought, I'll give him a heads up because we will get a few of the messages. You were literally going, wouldn't it be wicked if there was like this open world island where you discover the races and then you go on the race and then you go back to the island and you can meet characters. I was like, this is Diddy Kong Racing, you fucks. Why do people forget that? Matt,
do you know, it's weird because I played loads of Diddy Kong Racing, but only at a mate's house. And obviously, you would just go around, and because it was their game and they knew it, they would set it up and we would just do multiplayer races. So I never knew this was a thing, despite having played it.
Yeah, I did play it. But the only thing I really remember from that game was the final boss and it making me so angry. I literally broke in a 64 pad. So that basically made me forget most of the game. All I got is that final race where you would get hit and you'll slowly hit the ground. I can't talk about it.
Some of the music in that game is absolutely the final boss, Sean, was Whizpig, and the idea was it was a really tricky course against a pig who you could only beat if you hit every single boost in the right way, and if you missed one, that was it. You had to stop and reset.
And I seem to remember if he collided with you or you collided with something, you were just like,
yep,
you just game over and you're basically fall to the ground. It was it's one of the worst things ever.
Sounds good.
I can't believe was there a sequel that I've forgotten about?
I don't know. There was a Game Boy. Wasn't there like a Game Boy Advance game or 3DS?
No, there's
2DS.
No, it came out for the 3DS, but it was Diddy Kong Racing. It was the same game. But yeah, no, it was great. It was really fucking good. I loved Diddy Kong Racing back in the day. All about that. What was his name? Tut Tut or whatever his name was. The little shell dude. Yeah, like that game. Good shout. Good shout, listeners. I'm with you.
Has Sean realised that his Edward Nigma voice is exactly the same as a Joe Scribbles character on Regular Features?
Okay, so I asked Joe about this. and he agreed that yes, it's a very similar voice to one that he does. However, like a true gentleman, he conceded that basically we're both just ripping off an Adam Buxton voice. So
that's where I recognise it from. Yeah, Buxton.
Yeah. There you go.
Do we continue with that voice, or do we drop it? That's the question.
I would like to drop it if that's okay. But then I'm always egging James on to do silly voices. So
yeah, but we've had James's voice. That's it. We've done it.
Yeah. James could just use his normal. I'll tell you what, Sean. The reason why I'm suggested to drop it, and it's not a slight on you. I'm not having a pop at you. It's a funny voice.
I feel like you're about to, but go on.
Well, no, when the emails are like really long, you can hear that after about 3 sentences, your heart ain't in it no more. It's sort of wavering a bit, and I just think, just drop it now. Okay, all right. Well, we've listened. We don't want to plagiarise Joe's Scrabbles.
No.
Rex Reese continues, and I agree with James. That dude is just Googling riddles to try and become a regular section of the pod, and it sucks.
That's not very nice.
It's true.
I thought the emails have been quite funny, even if he was just Googling the riddles.
I like it. But although James's reaction, man, was fucking mental last week. I just Googled it. Honestly, you are, James, you must know how much of a grump you are.
No, but the point is if he can't be bothered to come up with his own riddle, I can't be bothered to try and find out what the answer is.
You're right.
So that's
valid.
That explains that grumpy side of you. What explains the no kids, you're not putting up your Christmas tree in a global pandemic early because of my rules? Where's that grumpiness? How do you explain that one away? It's too early. That's it. That's it for you, is it?
No.
Too early.
It's
too
also
early.
because it makes it more special when you do it in the beginning of December.
Is that right? For starters, in the beginning. Secondly, right? Do you honestly believe what you're saying there?
Yeah.
Or you just think it's too early and you don't want to see it?
Does it really make it more special for you, James?
It does, yeah. Definitely makes it more special.
James, can I just ask? Is your main concern in that situation that the magic of Christmas will be spoiled for you by the decorations going up a couple of weeks early?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Bollocks.
I love the idea of like December the 1st, kids are putting the decks up and James just sitting there going, yes, this is the correct level of
I feel so festive.
Get out of the fucking eggnog. Go on.
Step into Christmas. Step into Christmas.
Sean might get that.
It's not a real song. It doesn't exist.
It's a song.
Go on.
Jamie John, evening, gents. Regarding all the tech chat on frame rates and resolutions over the last few weeks, without wanting to put a downer on things, I think people might need to temper their expectations somewhat if they think Xbox Series X and PS5 are going to be able to run next-gen games at a consistent 60 FPS and in 4K, let alone 120 frames a second. I've been recently reading up on graphics cards for my PC, and I'm looking at dozens of articles and videos. If you're wanting a consistent 4K experience and 60 frames, you'll need to get yourself a GeForce RTX 3080. They cost 600 quid if you can find one, just for the card, versus the 450 quid that Sony and Microsoft are asking for their consoles. Furthermore, hitting 4K 60 is doable with a £600 graphics card if ray tracing is turned off. The full fat experience of native 4K with RTX enabled at 60 frames all but requires the top of the range 3090. One of those will set it back about £1,500. Even if the new consoles are being sold at a loss, expecting machines that are less than a third of the price of this card to perform at a comparable level is wishful thinking, to say the least. Moreover, the games that benchmarkers tend to favour are typically at least 1, if not 2 or 3 years old. Games like Control, Metro Exodus, and even 2018's Assassin's Creed Odyssey. History has taught us that the console market favours graphical fidelity over performance. So as the generation gets going and the likes of Naughty Dog, Rockstar and Santa Monica Studio rise to meet players and executives' demands for games that are even more photorealistic, and this is a long sentence, even more photorealistic and graphically impressive than the last gen, frame rate is always going to be what suffers. All of this makes a mid-gen console upgrade even more likely, and I wouldn't be surprised that we saw them sooner this gen than we saw them for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X last gen. And a reality check over, much love to you all, and that's from Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, we've been saying this for a few weeks,
haven't we? Fair few good points there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair few good points there. I don't agree with the mid-gen steps coming earlier than they did last gen.
Right.
I really don't.
I personally think they'll be later, especially because these are more expensive than them the mid-gen ones last time, and it feels like they're way more powerful than they were. And I mean, I would ascertain they're taking more of a hit now than they were when
that's exactly what
PS4 Pro won it.
And
they need to recoup these costs.
Also, where would that leave like the Series S as well? Like they can't do that, not for a while, because it would
get rid of it. There's barely count. I would say that they're already going lower than they initially wanted to sell these consoles and to bring out a more powerful one, which obviously they can't just whack. Maybe they do just bring out a £700 box. Maybe that's how they go. They do bring out a mid-gen one like 2 years' time, but it's like £800 or some shit. Who knows? But I think you're right.
How much was the One X when that launched? It was a lot, wasn't it?
It was like 350, 399 or something.
Was it? I thought it was like 500 or something.
I thought it was about 400.
Was it 450?
Okay. I was just wondering.
I said about 8 different prices.
It was 950. It was 950. Let's check 950.
It sounds like it sounds like an auction. That's what they say, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's what they say.
The chant.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think they could they could get away with like just saying, look, here's a super ridiculous high end one if that's what you really want, and it's £1,000 or whatever.
So
but it's always going to be niche.
The One X was £429 in the UK.
Okay.
Still a lot.
But yeah,
it's
always going to be niche.
Then, Sean?
Huh?
Do you say they could release that machine for £1,000?
Yeah, but on the understanding that it was like basically for obsessives only. Like, because ultimately people spend like twice that on a ridiculously good PC, right?
Yeah,
so if you want that sort of quality,
market, this isn't that. They're already pushing it. I would argue with these prices.
No, that's what I mean. They could do it, but they'd have to accept that it's going to be super niche for about 5 years, and then maybe that one eventually becomes the norm. But it's just it's not a good idea.
There will definitely be a mid-generation upgrade, or there will be mid-step consoles. I just don't think they'll come earlier. I mean, it's 2020 now. I think you'll be lucky to see one before 2024.
Oh, shit. Right. Okay. So we're here now, right? It is November 2020. Okay. Right. So let's all make a prediction.
Oh, no.
Microsoft bring out their mid-gen console. It's more powerful than the Series X. They're obviously going to call it a Series something. What letter do they use? James, you first.
Okay,
James, you
stick
first.
the same.
Series. It's the Series XL. There you go.
Ooh,
XL, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty big as it is, but okay, fine. Matt?
It'll be the Series X again, but it'll be like the new Series X.
Like the new Series X. I'm going to go Series Z.
No, but where does that leave them after that? No.
Where's it left?
There could be a new Series S, and it'd be the Series Y as well. So you got the Y.
Right, I was going to say Series Y, but now I've been left till last, and everyone's just fucking talking. That's been ruined.
Yeah, go on, Sean. Series Y.
Series Triple X, mate. No, Series Y.
Oh, they can't do that.
No, they can't.
Series XXX. You can get BMX XXX.
That sounds like
launch exclusive.
Hey, can I have a copy of BMX XX to play on my Series XXX, please?
Yeah, they are going to stick with the same S, the same X, and they'll say, here's the new X, here's the new S. And then there might be an E, and that will be the streaming stick or whatever. They'll do the Tesla thing. That's what they can do, all right?
That's
it now. I think it'll be X now forever. Well, not forever. It'll be... X will be their powerful console for many, many years, and there'll be the new X, the new S will be their mid-range.
I mean, that was quite a sentence there, Matt. I
kind of lost it halfway through. I was like, I'll carry on.
Okay, all right. Should we move on to the next bit of feedback?
Let's. Russ, this is a great bit of feedback. Russ, this is a quote actually. That Viking game, Spike in Transylvania, is fucking shite. Is it, Sean? Reviewed 82% in Crash. Not even far from a crash smash. Outrageous opinion of a $2.99 classic. When your only real alternative for your Viking kicks is a £70 next gen Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Disclosure: I was one half of the two-man team credited Russ that put it together for the ZX Spectrum Performance University. I need chopped on my takeaway nanos and laughing when I heard that kicking come out of nowhere 30 years later to insult my past. Cheers, guys, from an old guy who enjoys the show. Even if I do skip what you've been playing every now and then.
Wow.
Within most weeks.
Cheers, Russ.
I mean, I'm just going to ask: this isn't another Juice scenario, is it? Someone?
No.
This is
I
real.
think this is legit.
Okay.
I think this is legit. Did you mention this last week or the week before?
That was last week. Yeah.
Because I remember this game. I don't remember anything about it, but when I looked at screenshots, I was like, I remember that character.
Yeah.
I definitely played it, but I don't really remember it.
But
I'm going to say it was one of my favourite games of all time.
I was going to say, I've always loved that game.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Ross, I played the Commodore 64 version, so it might have been a bad port. Do you know what I mean?
Russ did that port on his own.
That was all him.
Although he was half of the team that made the game, he did the port on his own. So you just made it worse. Sean, just made it worse.
Shall I stream it at some point?
Oh, what? So you can slag it off?
Oh, what?
So in front of Russ?
No, maybe
really
I'll rediscover it and be like, hang on a minute, this is
everyone watch me live. So this game's a massive piece of shit.
Wait there. Right, let's see how deep Sean can go into this hole.
Yeah.
How are you going to stream it?
With an emulator.
An emulator, yeah? What, you're just going to download the file, are you?
I mean, I tell you what, Russ, if you've got a problem with me downloading a copy...
Don't threaten him.
You really have taken this the wrong way, Sean.
Send me the fucking car park. I'm saying, if you've got... I'll tell you what, Ross, give us your email. I'll PayPal you $2.99.
Oh my God, he's
he's trying to bribe him.
And I'll stream it.
on the air.
Sean has gone from slagging off the poor guy's game, slagging off his port of the game, telling me he's going to
it's not his port. I'm saying I played he said he worked on the Spectrum version. I played the Commodore 64 version.
Are you denying his hard work?
No, not at all. I'm saying the 64 version.
And he also said you'll live stream it so everyone can hear slag off live.
I'm not going to sag it off. I'm just going to play it through to completion without condoning or condemning. It's just going to be...
Or pay him for it, apparently.
Yeah. I'll give him $2.99, so I'm in the clear morally, if not legally.
There are other people that need to be paid.
Inflation, Sean?
That's the point. What's $2.99 in 30 years ago just did for inflation?
What if he thinks it's worth loads more now? And he's got to split it. So,
with the other person.
I mean, does he? I might not be in touch with the other person. It was 30 years is a long time.
Do you reckon they had a massive bust up?
Maybe.
Yeah. After listening to last week's show, one of them rang each other up and then they played that bit down the phone and just said they never want to talk to each other again. It's all your fault, Sean. It's all your fault.
Or
my fault.
The other person can say, look, I told you it was shit. And then it's like, yeah, you were right.
It's the fucking proof.
Yeah, finally, 30 years later.
Anyway, Russ, stay in touch. Thank you.
Thanks for the email.
That email made us laugh a lot when we received it. And I apologise for Sean. I'm not going to ask Sean to apologise because I know he won't, and he'll probably call you names because that's arrogant. The sort of relationship you got with him now.
Okay, guys, we might have to call this off because $2.99 adjusted for inflation is actually £6.85.
Holy shit. Russ, please sign up to the Major Nelson tier so we can buy your game off of you direct. Thank you very much. Let's move on.
I feel like I was trying to be reasonable then, and it's just gone really badly.
You did get this fade out. It was digging lower and lower. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. You're in that hole now.
Yeah,
you ain't coming
that's
out.
Where I live now. Spike in Transylvania hole.
The Transylvania hole. Okay. 6 Grid Games re-streaming techniques. Thoroughly enjoying all three TCGS Co. All three TCGS Co unboxing videos. I can't help but think of the endless possibilities your split-screen camera setup could provide for future streams. Viewers could scrutinise Matt's hand-eye coordination and whether he really uses a D-pad when he plays Mario 2. I did that a couple of weeks ago, actually.
You did.
I had 2 cameras to catch up. James could adhere to rules and...
Why are we so aggressive to our listeners at the moment? What's going on?
James could adhere to rules and regulations during inquisiting sessions, knowing camera monitors idle hands all times. With a little DIY, Dave could show us his dishwashing techniques in real time. Sean, just as expertly, could make us privy to his inspired brushstrokes while playing Pass Bar 2. Just think about it. That's all I ask.
I did it.
The one that I really wanted was one of the cameras on Matt's feet, but he seems to be bashful about that. He doesn't want to do it.
No.
He's probably worried about the sort of attention he'll get.
Well,
so just do it.
No, I mean, I'm up for that. I've always thought, if I can make
do it then,
just by selling like feet pics, and why wouldn't I? I've got 2 feet.
OnlyFans.com
set a camera up to your
Murray.
feet when you're playing a game, like an intense game.
I mean, I guess I could, but it's like the lighting. I've got to buy another Elgato light. And,
you need to buy another Elgato. What are you doing?
That was a joke.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Well, do you
know what, Matt? It's genuinely hard to tell with you about this stuff.
And that's why I'm so happy. I'm in a perfect position of not knowing whether I'm serious or joking. Love that.
Okay. He's master of deception.
Right,
I'll think about it.
I mean, he was lying, Sean.
The viewers have requested that, which I don't know how I feel about, but
well, because I had a multicam set up for Bell's Kitchen, and then realised it was sort of pointless and loads of work, so binned it.
Okay, all right.
Well, that was
a cheerful ending.
Take that, 6 Squid Games.
Dear TCGS cons, that's
rude.
I just want to share a quick thought on why people were more bothered about Avengers not having likenesses than Spider-Man. Obviously, these characters have had various incarnations throughout the years, with many designs and interpretations. In Spider-Man's case, the new game felt like its own take. It took a little visual cue from the Raimi movies here, a gadget straight from the MCU there, and a few characters who seem to have stepped straight from a comic book page. On the other hand, that Avengers game was a straight-up MCU Avengers, same costumes, same jets, same specific choices of superheroes. Everything apart from the very handsome men we're used to seeing stretch out those leather pants. It doesn't bother me personally, but I get it. Anyway, appreciate y'all. That's from Luke Summerhays.
You missed out a bit at the end. Because he puts at the end, Luke Summerhays, who will only fly away.
Belter.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So it was too close to the Avengers, but it didn't have the crucial element of the likenesses of the actors we knew.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I can understand them, to make an Avengers game around the time of the last Avengers films coming out, and then be like, oh, and by the way, it's not even the same characters. Never mind the same actors, likenesses. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. Because they obviously want to say, we've got Avengers, but they haven't got the crucial part of the Avengers.
Yeah, exactly.
Shame. Jack Miller. Give James a deadline for his script, and if he doesn't meet it, Matt wins a bet since James can't be bothered.
Can I'll say something about this? Yeah. So the thing is,
yes.
I asked Dave about this earlier this week, and he confirmed that I can do this. That I can use this for in conjunction with the Game of the Year show. So that
of course you can.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
of course it can.
There's plans in motion. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, of course it can. We said it could be, that video could be about anything. Whether we put a time limit on it that's a new part of the situation. We'd all have to agree to it. But if he wants to use it for his Game of the Year show, listen, Sean, remember his plans around Game of the Year show is always insane and always goes wrong. Do you remember I'm going to nominate a game I don't like? And then it come around to him having to talk about the thing. And he went, oh, I do like it, but how rubbish it is. I like how rubbish it is. And everyone went, yeah, all right, James, it's up against Yakuza. We all vote for Detroit. James, I said to him, yes, that sounds fine to me, right? But don't tell me your plan. I don't want to know it. I just want to hear it when it happens, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Matt, don't sweat. Okay.
I don't think James just got it in him to write something genuinely terrifying. But maybe that's that's what he's relying on.
Wouldn't I? Yeah. Go on.
I just think it kind of goes against, the spirit of the bet, but it's fine.
We never said when it had to be done by. And you can use it at any time. It's just there.
I mean, don't start talking about technicalities, because we'll have people going over old episodes again. And
So let's move on.
Okay,
well dodged there, Sean.
Going to end with Greg. Disappointed to hear that James got rid of his old Xbox so quickly, and in so denied us that James tries to install and play Cyberpunk 2077 on his old broken Xbox screen, which I suspect would have been very entertaining. Well, entertaining for us at least. Maybe not James.
I'd watch that. I agree with Greg there, but when James found someone willing, not a person, don't worry, but when James found a shop willing to buy his Xbox for 80 quid.
I know.
I mean, come on. I'd have bitten someone's hand off for that.
I mean, James, when I sell something CX, I'm always like worried, oh God, I hope I don't find something, a weird bug that I never have. Maybe they're like, oh, it's less than we thought. You must be shitting your pants.
Well, this is right. Okay, can I just say this, right? This has just hit me. James was given a price from CEX. He took his broken Xbox in. They bought it from him for that price. Matt took his PS4 Pro and Xbox One X in, and both got knocked down in price.
Yeah, I was livid.
How gutted must you be, Matt? Fucking hell.
Just because... So the PS4 didn't have like the original black pad because that one just fucked up over the years. So I had like another pretty new pad. I don't get that either.
I don't get that either because you gave them one of the white pads, right?
Yeah.
They sell them for more than the black pads, so they've double mugged you off there.
All they said is it wasn't a complete set of the PlayStation 4 Pro, and on the Xbox they're like, some marks in it, and I would say, get a fucking cloth, mate. Like, anyway, at that point I was like, whatever. I'm just happy to get some money, frankly.
Okay.
Annoying, and that is it for So James, also, I mean, the thing about why James sell his Xbox. I mean, by the time Cyberpunk comes out, the Xbox won't even be a known brand anymore. It'll be, everyone will be on Mars probably. It's like, what I'm saying is Cyberpunk's going to be delayed by a lot of years.
That was a long way round to get to that point there, Matt.
I don't know what's happened.
Yeah, I was like, why is he talking about being on space and stuff? What the fuck is going on here? Oh, right, it's delayed. Yeah. I don't think it will be.
That is it for feedback. If you want to leave us feedback, go to tcgs.co/deartcgs.
James, bring us the news.
We had some news. There's a console. It's a bad start. Isn't it?
Good start, cracking start. Let's go.
It's a bad start.
Wow, come on, we got this. No, we got. There's a console. Is there? There's a console. Right. Okay.
Making that a Twitch alert, Matt. Let's get that done.
There's a console. Yeah, just every time someone subs. Right, James, come on. It's serious now. You got your serious hat on?
Yeah.
Serious hat?
You got your serious hat on?
Okay.
Never takes it
you got
off.
A very serious hat
I put my glasses on. It's fine.
His kids come in. Daddy, can we put the Christmas decks off a bit early?
No.
Hat on.
The serious hat's on, kids.
I've got news about console. Right,
console, right.
Here we go, James.
There was a console.
Okay, you spoke over me there. Come on then. James.
No, Dave. One more of these, and James is done.
What do you think?
He's going to be laughing for hours if you do it once more.
Okay, all right. James, time for the news.
There's been a console.
Okay, that was too long ago.
Because I thought you were going to.
That was too long that time.
I thought you were going to say something.
That was too long that time. Let's go straight. I did say something, didn't I?
No, I thought you were going to say something again to trip me up.
Then you come straight back in. Okay, ready? James, time for the news.
There was a console launch this month.
What is this? Episode 228, Matt?
228, yeah.
228. This is where we're at. This is, I like to think that Matt, myself, and Sean have all improved a lot, when it comes to podcasting over those 228 episodes. I think we've all made strides in our own way. James seems to be stepping backwards, if anything. Right. James, you got this, yeah?
Yeah, okay, so anyway,
here we go.
There was
James.
What?
Time for the news.
There was a console launch this week. No, last week.
Oh, for fuck.
Actually, okay, just let me get on with it. So the Xbox Series X and S launched last week, and it turns out that this was quite a big thing because it was the biggest launch ever, according to Phil Spencer. So this is what he said.
He'd know.
What?
I'm just saying he would know.
Yeah,
it was the way you said, according to Phil Spencer, as if to cast doubt on
as
nobody.
If you didn't believe him.
Well, this one guy who's clearly got a vested interest.
Well, he has, hasn't he? He's obviously got a vested interest. Listen to the quote, and you'll see.
That was Sean's... What the fuck is going on tonight with everyone? Right.
Don't know.
Let's listen to the quote.
I mean, I've been up since 5 a.m. That's my...
Yeah, but you're not doing anything wrong, Sean. You're the only one not doing anything wrong.
He's interrupting me. He's interrupting me while I was doing it.
Sorry, I'm not helping.
Let's get the quote.
So, Phil Spencer said, more Xbox consoles have been sold in more countries than ever before. Although he didn't want to... Microsoft are not going to give numbers anymore. They haven't done that for a long time.
They haven't done that for years.
Yeah, but...
no, that's good. Most successful Xbox launch. That's pretty I didn't expect that, but then also. No, I honestly, no, I didn't expect that.
Really?
I didn't expect that during a global pandemic, no. And with everyone going through what they're going through, I was surprised that they were saying that they were going to sell more Xboxes than they... But then, well, the 360 was a big launch, wasn't it? But
there's reasons why, because they launched it in 37 markets compared with 13 for the Xbox One. So you've immediately got...
But what about the 360? What did they launch for the 360? How many territories did they launch for 360 in day one?
I have no idea, but the Xbox One was 13, so I'd imagine it's probably less for the 360, but either way, it's more. I mean, but then the Xbox One sold 1 million units, like at launch of the Xbox One, so it's obviously they've sold more than that for this, which is definitely an achievement.
How did you work that out? And I mean, there was rumours going around that they're close to 2 million units sold. Mm-hmm. In the first 24 hours, which is pretty good. I mean, great. It's a weird one to compare because they had two consoles out, one at a very, very low price. So, yeah, I don't know how you directly compare them to the other Xbox launches, but they seem to think it's a success so far, so good on them. Good on them.
But also, I mean, Phil Spencer has said that they're never going to produce sales numbers for hardware again anyway, because they prefer to count like player numbers given that their user base is across multiple platforms. So it's like that's...
Let's see what happens if they start selling... I don't think they will, but if they start selling 3 Xboxes to 1 PlayStation, let's see how long they keep quiet about how many Xboxes they sold. I think they might mention
the console's sold dead.
They will probably mention it then.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
5 million, have we? Oh, I mean, we're not reporting that, but if you were, it's 5 million. So if you're counting.
It's 5.1 million, actually.
Ooh, we're not counting, but it's 5.2 million. We're not counting. We are not, and we're not reporting 5.5 million. Definitely not recording the 7.5 actually now. But
go on, James.
Are we done? Okay. No? Anyway, so Xbox Series X. There's also been these videos that went viral with it smoking. So what this was there was 2 videos that were circulated online of smoke appearing to come out of the top of the Series X. And then
it did look cool. It looked funny, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it looked funny. It was like a massive chimney of smoke coming out the top of that thing, and it did make me laugh when I saw it.
So, I mean, part of the reason I think this gained a little bit of traction in the beginning was because, there was those earlier reports before of, like, machines running very hot, that people had said that they were running hot, so it was like, that is possibly a thing, and obviously Red Ring of Death, all that kind of thing. So anyway, Microsoft responded saying, "We take all product safety reports seriously, and our products meet or exceed industry standards. We're in the process of investigating further." But it then became clear that what was happening was people were vaping into their Series X's to achieve the effect. So then Microsoft then responded again and just said, "We can't believe we have to say this, but please do not blow vape smoke into your Xbox Series X."
I love that shit. So has it come out that they were legitimately fake videos? That sounded weird.
Sorry, what?
Did it come out that that they were actually faked? Those videos, what? Did they try and defend it, or
the first one? Like the guy did keep on saying that this was real, but I don't think anyone's paying attention.
But I watched that video after hearing that they were blowing vape smoke at the bottom of the console. You can't see the bottom of the console in that video, so it was kind of like a bit suspect. But so this is all up in the air. Nothing's been confirmed either way.
It's up in the air.
It's a not anything. Yeah, I don't think it's anything.
It's a not anything.
Yeah,
right. Okay. Well, there's the episode title, Matt. If we've got anything, this is a not anything.
I've got 7 already. So the other thing, like I think actually just around the smoke time is when there's also a video that a picture that went viral of I think it was Mike from the publisher who did Descenders had a picture of like a ping pong ball over an Xbox, and look, Xbox. If you put a ping pong ball over it, it floats. That was also faked.
Oh, was it faked? What did they do?
How did they fake it? There was like a bit of basically like a paperclip folded, and the ball was on that paperclip.
Oh, brilliant! Because I saw that.
So and I thought, holy shit! Like, the fans on that thing are so powerful. It can it can hold a ping pong ball up.
It's like one of those machines.
That's a brilliant fake. I like that because it's harmless. Because it's nothing vicious. You know what I mean? It's yeah, I know. It's just that floating ping pong ball made me giggle, and it's a shame it's a fake, but I like that. That's good. That's good.
And the other thing I have been seeing, I mean, every launch has issues It just does. I mean, I've seen some videos of people who put discs in their Xbox, and like the Xbox was like
that seems a really screaming.
One. You know, the disc drive is insanely loud.
Yeah, it's the grinding.
So I've seen that on forums as well. Has anyone tried a disc on? Have you tried one in yours, Matt? I know you two have got an S. I've not tried one in mine because they're all packed. So, but I'm like worried. I want to try it with the thing in. But okay, all right.
Okay, then also, just before we started recording, it seems that 343 Industries are expected to give what they're calling a high-level update on Halo Infinite soon. So what this is its community director, Brian Jarrett, has said that they're going to provide this update regarding Halo Infinite in the coming weeks. It's not going to be at the Game Awards in 2020, and they said the goal of the update is to restart this journey together, with the developer aiming to be transparent and open and all that stuff that they usually say, Anthem, etc. You know, that sort of thing.
The journey.
Can we have the full quote?
Sounds bad.
The full quote?
Yeah, let's have that Reddit post.
Okay. I think this is the full quote. Is this the one where it's right now we're still going through the huge cascade? Right, okay.
Yeah,
so
the quote.
The full quote is right now. Why do I have to read this?
Well, it's good to read the actual quote.
Yeah, but the summary's fine.
I mean, it's your section, James.
Exactly. I don't see why I've got to read the entire thing. The summary's fine.
The headline's fine.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Anyway, basically, they're going to announce that there's going to be a roadmap and all that kind of thing, I think, is what's going to be there. But, yeah, that's that.
Right, okay, that's James just... That's not the news, though, is it?
Yeah, that's James editorialising.
That's James editorialising.
I'm allowed to do that.
I hope the roadmap's just like, right, clear. November 21, we're going to release level 1. January, level 2.
It's gone episodic.
We're taking it episodic. It's going to be an episodic Halo.
I don't know. I mean, there was a great interview with Phil Spencer by Tamor from GameSpot, friend of the show. Definitely check that out and watch that. It really did feel like Phil was saying, actually, it's not that far away. Like, it's not going to be delayed for years.
Say that.
What do you mean?
Of course he's going to say that. He's not going to say, yeah, we're not going to release it for like 2 years or something like that, is he? He's definitely not going to say that. Say?
Sorry, what did he say? What did he say in that interview?
Okay, he said whatever you just said, because I've not watched the interview, but you just said...
You've not watched the interview, so you don't know what he said.
You're just going based on what you just said.
The impression he gave, right, from that interview was that things are pressing on, they're not being scrapped and restarted. That was the impression he gave from that interview.
Well, that's different to this. That's different to this quote here, which says that we're going to restart this journey together. I mean, that's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, no, because that could mean we're going to show you an initial trailer again together.
Yeah, it could just mean, can we pretend that last trailer never happened?
Yeah, that last one didn't happen.
I am not saying that that they're restarting this right from the beginning. They're not. I'm not saying they're doing an Anthem with this. Like, they're not saying we've got to rebuild the entire thing from scratch or whatever. But
I mean, you did say that.
Yeah,
but
no, I didn't say that. No, I did not say that.
You said that on the show and before we started recording.
When? What did I say?
You said this is an Anthem thing.
Yeah, no, it's Anthem in the same way that what they're doing is they're having to like restart again, basically. But I'm not saying they're rebuilding right from scratch. I'm saying that
I wish we could hear the full quote. That's what I wish.
No, it's a good shout, man.
We would have put everything in context.
Right now, we're still going through the huge cascade of implications and ramifications for the release shift, and the team is heads down working through nearly every facet of the game. Full disclosure, we don't have anything planned for the VGAs, but we are hoping to offer at least a high-level update within the next few weeks so we can kind of restart this journey together after the holidays. Putting together something like a demo or big beat for the VGAs is an enormous amount of work and will cause challenges with current milestones of the holidays. I know it's hard to wait, but the team is going to make the most of this extra time, and we want to make sure we can put our best foot forward and commit to greater transparency and dialogue on the road ahead. We'll get there and get the train going again. There you go. That's the whole...
I mean, I hear that and I think, this is... There's a lot of work to do.
What I hear that, and it confuses me a little bit, when they're saying we're going to make an announcement in a couple of weeks and restart this after the holidays. So what does that mean?
Well, maybe
what could the announcement possibly
in January,
be?
There'll be a trailer or something.
It means that they're gonna do what they'll do is they're gonna do one of those like briefings where they say this is the road ahead for Halo Infinite, and then they'll probably lay out a bunch of milestones that they want to hit over the next year. That's what it will be.
We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that game. I can't wait to see it again. I genuinely cannot wait to see it again. Like, how do you? I can't remember such a high-profile game releasing a trailer, it being panned, then pulling it like the launch date completely, and then having to show a new trailer. I'll be fascinated to see what they show next.
And having the creative director
Is it going to be the same area, a very similar demo to the last one, but just looking way better? Or are they going to show you a completely different part of the game, which may look good, and people go, yeah, that looks good, but can we see that bit again to see what you've done to that, please? How do you even approach this? It's going to be fascinating.
I still can't get my head around the fact that, like, okay, good that they've listened to the feedback, but I can't believe that most people working on the game didn't realise what the reaction was going to be.
But most people probably did realise, but they're like, we've got to get it out.
Yeah. I tell you what annoyed me, though, and this is going back to that interview with from Phil Spencer. What annoyed
plug
me...
in GameSpot. If this was Matt, we're kind of funny. You'd be kicking off.
It was just a really good video, and he's a friend of the show.
They're rivals, David. They're rivals.
The thing is, Timur's been on this show loads of times, and although Matt would love one of the kind of funny chaps on here, I won't allow it. Right? But Phil Spencer, he said something that really pissed me off in that interview, because he was talking about the visuals and the reaction that the graphics had. And he said, I really don't understand the backlash. You know, Halo has always been stylized. So if you're going into it expecting some photorealistic like settings, then I think you don't understand what Halo's all about and all this. And I just thought, no. Because you look at Halo 5, for as crap as that game was, it looked incredible in places. Yeah. Halo 4, you know, people were passing around screenshots of Halo 4 and everyone was going, oh, is that Infinite? That looks pretty good. No, that's Halo 4. You know, it wasn't just the fact that it looked crap. It was also all the popping, the weird, like the shadows, the models, everything looked bad. You can make a stylized game look good, Phil. Thank you. And I think you know that, Phil. I think you know that. So... It's Dave Turner talking straight to you.
It's like you say, okay, Halo's had a visual style about it, I guess, but it's never looked like plasticine before. That was new. That demo looked rough, but you know, I really want it to be good, so I hope they nail it. I hope they nail it.
And ultimately, we all want it to be good. And I will, if they said, well, they wouldn't, but if it turns out it's a 2-year delay, and then so be it. I would rather be waiting for a good Halo than them rushing a Halo out and it being shit and people thinking, is that it? Is that it for Halo 5? Didn't
I agree.
Bad? Take as long as you need. If they said tomorrow we're re-scrapping the whole thing and starting again, then I'll be happy. Brilliant. I don't want them to have to rush out because they feel like, well, we said next year. Like, no way. I don't just... Take the time.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm sure they're all listening and going, okay, Matt says.
Yep.
Matt says.
Write this down.
Okay. Don't worry. Everyone take a holiday.
Okay. The next bit of news is that Capcom got hacked. Was this yesterday or was this today? Well, there's actually, I mean, it happened like several weeks ago, but there's been more details have come out about it. So
this podcast doesn't go out for 2 days, so
that's true.
It doesn't really matter.
No. I mean, there was a ransomware attack, and it turns out that up to 350,000 people could be affected, but they're not entirely sure yet if that is the case. So it was actually about a week and a half earlier than this that this had actually started, but then they didn't think that any customer information had been accessed. And what it was that the attackers, like, they scrambled the data on Capcom servers, like, you know, they did that thing where they encrypted the drives basically, and then making it so that you couldn't then, you know, do anything. And then they went to them and said, okay, you got to pay us to unlock the encryption. But then it seems that Capcom didn't play ball with this, and so they leaked some information from it, which has sort of gone onto the web. And we're not really talking about that, are we? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like, there was loads of game-related leaks, but the story here is that loads of people have had their personal information stolen, which is really grim. So It's a bit weird to be like, oh yeah, but look at what's happening with new Resident Evil. So yeah,
I mean, Capcom have confirmed that it's only 9 people, like 9 people's personal information has been definitely compromised, and this was like former employees or current employees. But the information that seems to be affected, it's like names, addresses, birthdays, phone numbers, email addresses, all that kind of stuff. But apparently none of this was credit card information, so that's probably a good thing, because
at least
they do like all their online transactions are handled by a third party anyway, so it wouldn't impact that, it seems. But that's not great. That's happened.
No,
it sucks.
Yeah,
absolutely sucks.
Next story. This is very strange, but there was like the police were called to Ubisoft Montreal offices after a 911 call, and it was described first of all as a possible hostage situation. And the Montreal police tweeted, they said, officers have been sent to the location following a 911 call, and officers are on site inspecting the premises. There are no injuries reported. But then it turns out CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company, have said that the whole thing was basically a hoax 911 call. Yeah.
So they got swatted, basically, didn't they? Because wasn't it? So it's the entire building housed umpteen other companies, wasn't it? It's just that obviously us being us, we found out about it because it involves Ubisoft Montreal. But but
a lot of the major news sites were reporting it as their offices.
Oh, were they? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. It's just a horrible story, wasn't it?
Yeah, really awful. Because obviously, it's easy for us to be like, oh, it was a hoax, but that was still a very real situation for the people in that building.
Yeah, God, yeah. The people that were standing on that roof must have been going through hell. Yeah, it's awful. Yeah.
Okay. Next story is that Twitch have apologised for their handling of mass copyright claims. So it seems that Twitch has been having trouble with DCMA requests, and they've said that since May this year, they've been receiving hundreds of them all the time. They're getting from major record labels, whereas before they were getting 50 a year or whatever. It was very, very low. Apparently, it's estimated that 99% of these claims are from streamers, music that streamers are playing in the background of their streams. So then, this is what Twitch said. So they said, we were compelled to delete the VODs and the clips that were identified in the notifications. This showed our commitment to upholding our obligations under the DMCA, while affording us the opportunity to sort out the best way to handle issuing strikes in these circumstances. Under these extraordinary circumstances, we recognise creators should have a reasonable chance to understand that content created in the past was being targeted as allegedly infringing, and be given an opportunity to change their approach to music use before they got hit with strikes. However, Twitch didn't bother to contact people or say which videos were affected or what they could do about them. And then Twitch responded, because obviously people were very angry about this, saying, you're rightly upset that the only option we provided was a mass deletion tool for clips, and that we only gave you 3 days notice to use this tool. We could have developed more sophisticated user-friendly tools a while ago. That we didn't is on us, and we could have provided creators with a longer time period to address their VOD and clip libraries. That was a miss as well.
So to be clear, so let's just contextualize this. So say you stream 5 days a week as your job, 8 hours a day, right? And then suddenly everything you've ever streamed suddenly is being scanned for maybe a piece of music you know that it's getting flagged as belonging to someone else, or in some cases I've seen people getting told off for certain sound effects in games because it's from a sound library that's and it's flagging that up as well. So basically, streamers were just suddenly getting emails being like, oh, guess what? We found dozens of supposed infractions on your account. And people were getting strikes against them as a result. And it's fucked. It's I mean, it's not hit us yet.
This statement, the reason why I jumped in there, this statement's weird. It's just we were shit about that, and we were shit about that.
But the thing is, they're not even...
It's on us. No one's blaming anyone else, Twitch.
But they're not even saying oh, sorry, this is a bit heavy-handed, we need to review it. They're just saying, sorry, we should have given you longer to go through all of your entire video archive and figure out what should or shouldn't be there. It's nonsense.
Hang on, I didn't finish it, because then they also said, that was a miss as well. We're truly sorry for these mistakes and we'll do better. And then they said, like, for what people can do while they're working out how they're going to do better, they advise people just don't play recorded music on the stream. And then if they said if you're unsure, just if you can use this at all, just mute yourself. Like if you just
mute your game,
if you mute the game audio, then you'll be fine. And
what a brilliant solution for a game streaming platform.
Yeah,
no, I think well, obviously Twitch's popularity has gone way up in the past 2 or 3 years, and suddenly these companies have noticed the sort of viewers that they're getting. And look, I know through experience through talking to John about what he goes through for doing music reaction videos on YouTube, the horrific side of trying to make well, I say trying, John, that's John's job. It's his day job.
Yeah.
And to feel that, some algorithm or whatever can just take money out of his pocket is shit, right? I think something's got to change, and I think something will change eventually. I think, it is an awkward situation where there are artists, there are companies that don't want their music on these systems. And, that's got to be recognised as well, in my opinion. I think they're stupid. I think if that's your approach to it, you're a fucking idiot, because all it's doing is promoting your music. Like, that is all it's doing. It makes you laugh how you've got these record companies, and I'm going to call them record companies because, I was born in the 80s. They're probably called something cooler now. But you got these record companies, right, that would have, 10 years ago, done anything to get their artists played on radio. But now it's on Twitch and YouTube. They're trying to ban them. Like, 0 sense to me. The logic behind that makes no sense to me. But if that's their stance, that's their stance, right? I think there's got to be some sort of legal agreement between these, YouTube, between Twitch and these record companies. Sorry, it just sounds weird coming out of my mouth. There's got to be some sort of agreement, some sort of licensing thing, much like what was it, RPS on radio? Is it called RPS license?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Because Facebook had done this recently. Like, say what you want about Facebook gaming, and I don't know how popular it is, but in September they announced that they had also reached an agreement with, I've just found the blog post here, with like Universal, Warner, Sony Music, loads of other people, to allow streamers on Facebook Gaming to have music in the background of their streams.
Do you think their worry is that if they let people stream that music on YouTube and Twitch for free, is that going to have an impact on premium streaming services like Spotify? And maybe Spotify put pressure on to say, hold on.
They make no money off that anyway.
I absolutely get what you're saying, because if people are using songs like a band or an artist's songs like in their streams, and that's a resource they are getting for free, and they're not reimbursing anyone for it, then yeah, totally get that. But it's just the way they're going about handling it, and it's the way, and and I've seen some larger streamers, because the reason the comparison to radio doesn't quite fit is because larger streamers are, some of them have said who can I really like using this band or this artist's songs as backing music. Can I pay them, and can I sort that out? And that's great if you're big and you make a fair bit of money on Twitch. But if you're us, for example, that's not really an option. There's so many smaller streamers who's what have they just got to sit in silence now? It does because Twitch is so scalable. It's, I don't know. What can you do?
I know you're listening. Email in for the feedback next week because I want your view on it. But I think something's got to change, and I think eventually it will. The more, Twitch isn't going away, YouTube isn't going away. They're going to have something's got to be worked out here, isn't it?
I think, and the other thing is, like you say about Spotify and stuff, listening to a copyrighted song on as part of a stream, to me, is never going to replicate the functionality or the experience of just streaming on Spotify.
No one's going to Twitch to watch these streams to listen to music.
Exactly.
No one's doing that. So I'm not saying, I'm just trying to understand why they don't want them on those platforms.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's
and I understand on YouTube it's a bit different, where it's more about getting a piece of the pie. You know what I mean? Like the whole idea is them using our music on their video. That video's getting quite a few hits. We want that money. We want that advertising money. So they just put a claim on it, and all the money goes to them. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we don't know enough about it. We haven't got enough experience, but it's a weird one, and it needs to be sorted out soon because it seems to be, if anything, holding back a growing medium, a growing industry.
Well, this is it. And is it a case of artists sort of legitimately going, well, hang on a minute, my work's being used for free. I am skint because Spotify's monetization is fucked. Can I please have some money? That's one thing. But then, how much is it? Just the music industry. As in the fucking Napster days, just being like, oh, we don't understand this. Like, we're not allowing it. Pay us or fuck off. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the Napster days were pretty bad.
They were incredible. Well, yeah, to be fair. But the Napster days didn't have to be bad if the music industry had shown it, had any intention of cooperating with it.
It depends what you mean by the Napster days, because the Napster days started with people just illegally downloading albums, and it completely decimated their industry. So I can't.
Listen to. There's a really good episode of 20,000 Hertz, and it's too long to get into now. But basically, it could have been easier on the music industry if they'd shown any intention of matching the functionality or doing something legitimate with it, and they refused. So
okay, all right.
Very also, if you think about other platforms like TikTok, which has basically launched tons of musicians' careers, because their songs are done well, and also like just regular artists.
Yeah, but hold on, there's a difference between launching a career and taking a established artist and using their music, right?
Well, okay, yeah, but other songs have done really well from artists that we know, and then they've gone on to become huge successes because so it's not just unknown people on TikTok whose music are doing well, but it's just their plan of how that works is just completely different to Twitch. And you think, if anything, Twitch should be more lenient because it's just in the background often, and the main focus is.
But they can't, can they? Because if they're getting the MCA requests, they can't just ignore those, can they?
No, I do get that. I get this. Like they've got to uphold requests and play their part. But
what Twitch could do though is not give strikes out.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Is be a little bit more understanding that this is a new thing and users are dealing with trying to understand it as much as Twitch are trying to understand it. Going around banning people probably isn't the right way of going about it. But as I say, don't know the ins and outs of it. So all right.
I'll just be interested to see if, as I say, because I've seen streamers that are like at sort of our sort of level getting stung by massive.
What Ninja you mean?
Ninja and Shroud and that. Just random sound effects and stuff are getting flagged, and I'm just interested to see how long it is before we start getting a few. I don't know.
Okay.
Do we use a lot of sound effects on our streams?
I mean, the ones in the games, yeah.
Okay.
What weird question,
do you stream
James?
with
sound
I thought you meant I thought you meant like with a soundboard or something like that. You were like
like an air horn and stuff.
Exactly.
No,
with
literally sound effects
T
in
your
games.
Pocket.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
everyone's sitting there with a Mr. T in their pocket. Yeah. Crazy fool. Go on.
No, literally just the sound effects in the games are getting flagged.
Oh, okay. No, I genuinely thought you meant.
Why I'm
I genuinely
concerned, James?
thought it was. You meant a soundboard.
No,
James, this isn't a Q&A at the end of a TED talk. Can we
James
just
has
move
been
on,
sitting
please?
here this whole time, being like, "Why is Sean so worked up about this?" It doesn't seem like that big a deal.
Yeah, just stop using Mr. T.
If people want to use a wooga, then let them use it. Right, go on, James. Come on, let's move on.
Okay, has anybody here got YouTube Premium?
No,
no,
sadly not.
Oh, it's a shame. Because the last news story is that if you have, you can claim a free Stadia Premier Edition bundle.
Ah, damn it.
They're pushing. I tell you what, they're advertising it a lot more now. I don't know if you've noticed around the launches of these consoles, it's on YouTube all the time. The Google Stadia adverts.
I've not seen a single one. So yeah,
really?
No, I haven't either.
How?
And he's looking for him.
Yeah.
On YouTube, you haven't seen a single Google Stadia.
I haven't seen no.
Wow.
No.
I see about 4 a day.
They must have
it's crazy.
The algorithm's got you pegged.
Yeah, Stadia fan.
Yep.
I am a gamer.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Sure are.
So they've got me down as that.
I saw this offer. I was like, okay, brilliant. I would just sign up for a month's trial or pay a month from YouTube Premium for 15 quid and get a controller. But no, you had to have been a member up to November 6th.
Yeah.
So you can't just sign up, get the thing, and quit. I mean, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's annoying because I would have liked that.
I tried to beat the system, but they thought about that.
I tried to steal from them, and it turns out it's not allowed.
That's you would have given them
Sean,
15
from
quid
emulating someone's game. You're going to
Matt, I had the exact same thought. I'm guilty.
But Sean, you had been a member before then, so you might.
Oh no, not ages ago.
Oh shit,
long time ago.
Okay,
damn it.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah, that's everything.
Right then, before we move on to what you've been playing, let's do the rundown of the consoles. So, 2 new consoles came out last week. The Xbox Series S, which we call the speaker, and the Xbox Series X, which we call the fridge.
Which is funny now that everyone else is definitely... I mean, not that it was like a really original observation, but it's...
I see.
I mean,
so one of the things where we make something so popular that it gets irritating, like when Victor Meldrew walks about in the shops and that, and people go, "I don't believe it," and he sort of just goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah, he's just sick of it. Sick of it.
Okay, well, let's call it the S and the X then. James, Sean, you got an S. Which one should we go through first, the S or the X?
I don't mind, man.
Let's go S.
Let's go S.
Let's go S.
I mean,
Sean, what you think
I'll
of the
go
S?
Then. I mean, yeah, I cannot believe, like, for the price it is and the fucking size of it, how cool this thing is and what good value for money it is. Like, obviously, yes, all the caveats. Yes, it is shite that there isn't like a big, at least one big exclusive, right? I have basically just been playing stuff that I could play elsewhere, but I'm having a fucking good time going through stuff just on the S. It's been great. I absolutely love it. So I've been playing, I mean, yeah, we'll get into it in depth in a bit. I've been playing a lot of Destiny because obviously the new expansion's out. It's not even enhanced yet for the Series S. But like, and I've been, going back to like No Man's Sky, bit of Forza Horizon 4. Obviously Tetris Effect came out for the Xbox. Fuck it, Skate 3. I know I joked about it, but it's just... Even just revisiting old stuff on it is just a great, seamless experience. I know James is going to disagree with that statement in a minute. We'll get onto that. Is it good enough that it doesn't, there aren't any like big exclusives? Not really, but it's been an amazing way to either revisit stuff or catch up on stuff, or just more conveniently and more quickly play things that I could play elsewhere, but I can't see myself choosing to. Like, I honestly don't know how much gaming I'm going to do on the PC anymore. Because... I
mean, it's insanely convenient, isn't it?
It's so convenient.
How quickly it just boots up, and you just... Yeah, I can't imagine for you as well that you can just move the fucking thing about, like, whenever. When I was watching the unboxing videos, I was actually blown away by the S, because it just looks so tiny and portable, and, I mean, it's... So
ridiculous.
Small. I mean, it sounds heavy. Don't get me wrong.
It is a bit, but it's just, I'm just looking at it now, and I can't quite believe it exists. And it was only 250 quid, and I've not had to buy any games for it.
So one of the major things people were picking up on with this was the hard drive size. How are you getting on with that?
Mate, absolutely fine. And like, I've been installing all sorts of shite, and I think I'm like 60% full. And that's like I say, and that's installing a lot of things that I've played before, but I just wanted to see it on this. And that includes, some EA Play stuff, a load of Game Pass stuff. Granted, a lot of indies, but I've still got, Gears 5, Forza 4's on there. No Man's Sky, as I mentioned. I've put like Burnout Paradise Remastered, bunch of stuff like that. And I'm only halfway. Destiny, obviously, is fucking massive. Yeah, it's only half full, and I don't really understand how. I was like going through, and I was like, "Oh man, any second now it's going to tell me I'm done. Like I've filled it." But no, it's all right. I mean, obviously that'll change going forward. Like games are going to get bigger again, and if it comes to a point where I've got because primarily for me, Game Pass is a good thing for indies, right, which tend to be smaller. But but as time goes on, maybe I'll have some bigger games that are like, that I'm playing quite a lot in rotation, and maybe it'll get annoying, but I've not even bothered plugging an external hard drive in yet, and I've got one here ready to go. I've just not even nearly needed it. So yeah, I'm all right for now, I think.
Cool.
I'll probably regret saying that in 2 years. I'll be like, fuck me, fucking stupid fat packet console. Get it in the bin, mate. You know what I mean?
James, what are your thoughts? How are you finding it?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love it as well, actually. I'm incredibly happy with the hardware. I think it's weird because it's so, like, it is very basic looking, but it's kind of, I think it's one of my favourite looking consoles ever. I think it looks really, really nice. It really, it fits in just so well, and just, yeah, it's just really, really great. Yeah, I mean, the controller in particular, I'm particularly happy with, as I talked about on the on that unboxing we did. It feels so nice, like, in the hands, and it feels, I think it's just, they've tweaked it, like, quite a lot, and the changes they've made have really, really improved it, particularly the triggers. I mean, you were talking about that the other day, Dave. They're perfect.
Well, this is what confused me, right? Because it's the same controller on the S that it is the X, right? It's the same pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all I'd been reading all the way up is how you won't be able to tell the difference. It's the same pad. They've refined it a little bit, but it's the same pad. The first time I picked it up, I thought, okay, this feels way more like I was expecting it to feel exactly the same, right, in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't. And it wasn't just the texture; it's the way that they've sort of redone the triggers. The buttons feel different.
It's smaller,
certainly
isn't it, as well?
The shoulder buttons. Yeah, it is smaller.
Yeah, I love that.
I was just kind of like, this does feel different. And then, as I've been using it over the past week, I've fucking loved that pad. Like, I really like that pad. I think it feels fantastic to play with. The way they've squared off the edges, the ends of the trigger and the triggers and stuff, and the D-pad feels fantastic to use. Yeah, I'm really impressed with the pad. I think, they haven't done much to it. But the stuff they've done to it have all been improvements. Like, the share button's great. All right, fair enough. They nicked that from the Switch, but the Switch did it the best. I think that's that share button.
Yeah.
You've got the D-pad feels absolutely brilliant to play Tetris with. It looks weird.
Would you not say nicked it from on the PlayStation controller?
It's not quite the same, because the PlayStation one, it brings up a dialogue, whereas the Switch one, you press it and it just automatically takes a screenshot, which is exactly how it works on Xbox.
I mean, you can. I guess they nick the same PlayStation one. You can the concept to it though.
With the PlayStation one, you can have it so that it's just press for screenshot, hold for video, though, right?
Yeah, that's why
you can. But didn't they do that afterwards? Didn't they do that after?
That's been there from the beginning, I think.
Possibly. I mean, in either case, with the PS4, you press the screenshot button, you're waiting about 30 seconds for it to take the fucking screenshot.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and that was what was so good. That's what's so good about the Switch one. When I started using the Switch one, it was like, I press the button, it takes a screenshot like that.
Yeah.
The videos go, they get, they're done straight away. And the way it works on Xbox is very similar. You tap the button to take a screenshot, you hold it down to take a video. You can set different lengths and stuff in the menus or whatever, but I find 30 seconds is just about right. And then you just check your phone about 3 minutes afterwards, and it's on your phone. You can download it and tweet it.
See, I really love that. Like, because obviously I've not had that previously.
Yeah, that's been available for years on the Xbox.
Yeah.
That Xbox app before this one, in some ways, was better than the current one. Like,
it had more features.
Certainly in terms of using the store and stuff. The biggest problem with the current app is that you can't redeem codes on it, and I used to use that app all the time to redeem codes. It's, the stuff you buy from CD Keys and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't do that on the current app, and that's really weird. But did you say they were going to add that in?
Yeah, so it is coming. They rebuilt the app and the Game Pass app for launch, and that functionality wasn't in launch, but they are bringing it. They're going to make it on parity with how it was before, but that just hasn't come in yet.
Yeah, I've not really noticed much about the activity feed as well, because that was sort of the prominence of the old app. Like, you would load the old app in the morning and just see what your mates had been recording from the night before, and that was usually pretty fun. But yeah, no, I mean, that pad I think is not a bigger upgrade than I was. It is a bigger upgrade than I was expecting, because I was expecting the same pad, and the only thing that I can think it was. The majority of the reviews were done by people that hadn't used the pad much before or something. Because I think
it's easy to compare, saying, well, Xbox, they've added a share button and some grips, and PlayStation have done this for the pad. So I think in comparison, you can.
Yeah.
I can easily say what people think. Well, they've barely done anything, but
yeah, there's no comparison. But I think as someone that uses the Xbox a hell of a lot, I think it is it's a really nice pad to use.
Yeah, like I always love it. I love the smaller size. I love the new grips. I mean, for the first time in Xbox pad, I really do like the shoulder buttons. Like the triggers, I was fine before. They're way better now, but I've never truly gone with the shoulder buttons, but they feel much more natural. I do love the slightly smaller size. Overall, I mean the new D-pad, I think it's great. It's really easy to to do
lovely, isn't it?
Circles around the D-pad. So that's really good, much better than the old one, but it is incredibly noisy.
It is very clicky.
I'm hoping
I quite like
maybe
that though.
Quite enough.
It makes a nice
click. It's very loud, but it is a nice click. I think.
I tell you what, though, that clicking is still better than the. Do you remember the original Xbox One pad? Because that had horrible clicky triggers, which was really, really annoying, and they sounded...
Oh, God, yeah, that was awful.
And they sounded absolutely terrible. But this one is significantly better. And the other thing that I think that Microsoft do really well with all of their consoles, actually, with this, has been like the weight of the controller. The weight always feels like perfect to me. Like when you
it certainly feels solid, doesn't it?
Yeah, which is...
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a DualSense through the other day because I'd ordered like a second one, and it turned up at the end of last week, and... Yeah, they there is a big difference between those pads, like in how they feel. And even though I haven't used the DualSense yet, I still kind of prefer the Xbox pad in terms of how it feels in the hand.
Yeah, I'd hold off with that until it's firing up, because a lot of it is down to what it does when it's on, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. But at the moment, though,
even the tension of the triggers and stuff, you can't really tell, because even in basic mode, it might tighten those triggers up a little bit more. Yeah, it's
but speaking about the Xbox
impossible to judge.
App, so I use the Xbox app previously, as Dave said, to check activity feeds, and the new one is definitely better. But I was really impressed with setting up the console through the app.
Oh yeah, God,
did you all do that?
That was a piece of piss.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. You
not having to type
numbers
stuff
in
in
it says
was good.
Yeah, you, Dave, do you want your settings on this one? Yeah, sweet, done.
So smooth,
crazy quick. So going back to the S, James, have you got anything more to say about?
Yeah, I mean, overall, as I said, I'm really happy with the hardware. I think it is great. For the OS, I've still okay. It works a lot better on the S. Like, absolutely, it's much faster. It's fully functional. I like the customization you can do to it. I don't think I'm ever going to really love it, because I just don't like the arrangement of it. I just don't think it's that intuitive. But that's me. That's my kind of issue with it. I did have the same problem where like games weren't launching and stuff. But I think what that might be is that my Series S had been on for about a week at that point, like nearly, because the thing is this is the other thing. I had to download everything again, and I had to download everything, and my internet connection is not very fast. I don't have like a really fast one, so most of the time I had to, because I plugged in an external drive and I just downloaded the games that I want to play like in the future, and that took. Yeah, about a week. I think it felt like it was. To actually download
a week.
Everything.
Have you? It come out last Thursday.
You know what I mean? Okay, it took about five or 6 days or wherever it was.
5 days just to download Uno. Wow.
Yeah. So I think what it was that it had been on for so many days, like literally like 24 hours. That I think maybe sometimes operating systems start to seize up when you do that sort of thing for like long periods of time, and I think that may have been one of the causes of it, like not launching games and stuff. But it can download in
standby, right?
So again?
Yeah, totally. You can download in standby.
Yeah, but it's not off though, is it? It's still like I'm always a bit wary with that, because I used to do that with the Xbox One, and if I did that, it would start to download something, and then I'd come back the next day and switch it back on again, and it would have downloaded some of it and then just switched itself off. And so,
I mean, as we've established, James, because your old Xbox.
You've got a broken Xbox, James. This one's not broken now. You can just do that. It works like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually find my games seem to download faster when it's in standby mode.
So do I. I thought I was going mad.
Well, this is one complaint I do have, and it's not like a limitation of the system. It appears to be a choice they've made. Have you noticed it massively throttles your downloads when like any game is running? Which obviously, thanks to Quick Resume,
I had heard
at least one always is.
I think Chris O'Regan said the same thing. He was trying to download, and he's got really good internet, and people saying everyone's saying just quit every game, and then you'll download faster.
Yeah. So when
is that to leave a little bit of space? Yeah, but isn't that to leave a little bit of down, like in case you're playing online and stuff?
I mean, yeah, but like previous consoles have like been aware of whether or not a game is online or not.
Oh yeah, of course.
So,
but
whereas this
so
just
many of
seems
these
to be
games ask you to log into a server now.
True.
The console's Game Boy is connecting to a server.
Yeah.
So we need to reserve some download speed for that.
So because I have full fibre.
Show off.
I know. So about
is that your breakfast?
150 meg a second. When nothing's running, it's maxing that out, and when anything is running, it goes down to like 30, 40.
Yeah, mine's 100. It goes down to 30 when I'm playing a game.
So it's definitely a design decision they've made. It's just like you probably don't have to throttle it that much, guys. So that's mildly annoying. But then obviously it's particularly annoying because obviously it's like day one, all you're doing is downloading stuff and wanting to play stuff while other stuff is downloading. So it's uniquely irritating for that first week. I don't think I'll be too upset about it going forward, but we'll see.
Well, that's the other thing, because I mean, I've installed most things to an external drive because I mean, I've been playing like Black Ops Cold War, and that does take up most of the drive. Like it's like 130 gig. Like if you download it, and that's a big chunk of the drive gone. You know, and if you've got like maybe one or two games like that, like Forza Horizon as well was like, what's that? It's like 80.
80,
yeah. So if you got that plus like Black Ops, and then you've got maybe like FIFA or something like that, the space goes very quickly. But
just delete all that shit and get Destiny 2 on, mate. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, I should go back to that.
No, seriously, do it.
That's why that was one of James's. Yeah, I ain't going to do that.
I'm not going to do that.
Did you notice that? Yeah.
But the external hard drive thing has been great, though, because I'm installed, because you can set it as well so that anything new that you download is just automatically downloaded to that instead. And then you can like transfer it over if you want to. And
how long does it take to transfer? Have you done any of that yet?
I have. I mean, I've done it a couple of times because when I downloaded Black Ops, I downloaded it first of all to the external drive, and then it took about 15 minutes to copy it like back over to the SSD. And the thing is, you're thinking 15 minutes, yes, that's a long time, but if you're only doing it once, and it's like...
Yeah, it's really not, is it?
It's not... I'm really not at all bothered with that. I'm really quite happy with my setup now, of like, I can have all of these games downloaded, pretty much ready to play, and most games will transfer in 5 minutes or so, you know, because they're much smaller in size. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
15 minutes for 130 gigs. That's not too bad.
Yeah,
really,
it's absolutely fine. I'm not bothered with that at all. And but I've been very pleased with like how fast everything loads, all that kind of thing. I was a bit disappointed with Quick Resume, mostly because a lot of the games that I was playing at the start when I first got it didn't seem to support it and didn't work with it properly.
Was that running off the hard drive?
How do you mean? No, they were running off the SSD. This was like games running off the SSD.
Right. Yeah, see, because Quick Resume is a strange one, right? Because it was given to us like it was going to be this all singing, all dancing system level thing, but it clearly isn't. Because so many of those games, so many of the games that I've played just don't support it. You know, Watch Dogs doesn't support it. Call of Duty doesn't support it.
Destiny doesn't support it.
Well, Destiny... you kind of get, right? Because it's a server-based game.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing the campaign of Call of Duty, it'd be nice if I could just jump back into where I was. And it doesn't seem to want to do that at all. What I will say, though, is for the games where it does work, it's fantastic, right? So over the weekend, I was playing Tony Hawk 1 and 2, the remake. I was playing Tetris Effect, and I was playing Forza. All three of those games support it. And flicking between those three games was absolutely fantastic. And then in the evenings, I was playing Call of Duty. Then waking up the next morning, Harry go be like, I want to play Forza. So we booted up Forza, bang, you're straight back in that game again, exactly where we were yesterday. So when it works, it's fantastic. My worry is that if it isn't a system level thing and the devs have to do something to get it to work, how many of them are actually going to put the effort in to make that work?
Yeah. And how long is it going to be until you, at the end of the night, you're in it, you're playing a single player game and you just turn it off, thinking, oh well, I'll be able to just resume it in the morning, and then you just can't, and you've lost progress. Or
you
whatever.
You also get some games like because I've been playing Mass Effect Andromeda, and it's like it supports it, but actually it doesn't because it restores. You go back into it and then it crashes. And it's like, that's not great.
Okay. I will say EA were probably thinking this Quick Resume thing. What game should we do it for? FIFA? Yeah. We've got lots of people playing FIFA. Mass Effect Andromeda? How many people are playing that on their series, their new consoles? There's just this one fella, James Farley.
No, but that's not the point, though, is it?
No, let's not put the effort in on that one.
No, because this is the problem, though, isn't it? That you get this all the time with Microsoft stuff, and the best intentions with this stuff, and it's a really good idea. Stuff like smart delivery, it's a very good idea. Quick resume, it's a very good idea. But all of them have got like an asterisk next to them in the sense that it's like, this works if developers actually support it or not.
Yeah, like it's all opt-in, and it's so you don't like they're all cool features, but you don't necessarily have that like peace of mind that it will just work.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
And that's the worry, isn't it? And I've been caught out a few times on Watch Dogs where I've sort of turned it off and thought, I'll get back to where I was, and it just boots from. It's so fucking annoying that.
Yeah, it's really that's one of the biggest disappointments to me about that. It's like it feels just a bit unknown. Will this work or will this not work? It isn't just everything.
Yeah,
works.
It kind of feels like there should be. They put symbols beside things a lot on this system.
Yeah,
the S and X. This is the S and X version. This is anything without that is not an S and X game. It feels like it should have a QR thing in the bottom left-hand corner just to say, look, it also supports quick resume and it works. Because I want to know if the game I'm playing supports it.
Yeah.
In terms of external drives, because I was wondering about this, because I have, for my One X, everything I had was on the external drive, which on launch day, brilliant. I'll just plug it in, all my games are there, amazing. But I thought, hang on, does this mean I'm going to miss out on quick resume stuff? And so what I've been doing is I've been moving stuff over to the internal drive. But today I've seen some videos of people saying, no, look, these games are on external and they do quick resume. It just take a little bit longer than they would do if they're on the internal SSD, but they still work.
I think
I just think that's a bit of unknown. I should know this stuff. I do a gaming podcast every week. I feel like I'm pretty up to date on what happens. And I'm like, how so? Does it work as internal, external? Like, is this quick resume or not? It's just
because what gets me is like obviously on some level the system is making a decision about whether or not it's doing the quick resume magic. So just tell me. Like like with the PS4, like if you've got one game, like it tells you what game is currently running. You try and launch something else that's going to fuck with it. It'll say, fine, but I'm going to have to close this instead. And you're then making that decision. Why can't quick resume on the Xbox do that? Just tell you, like, look, these 3 games are currently being held in suspension. If you launch a 4th, something's going to give. And just tell me. Like,
yeah, but I don't think it's that at the moment. I think it's games flat out not supporting it.
Well, there was also at the start, like when the console on the launch day, wasn't it that they'd also disabled it anyway for a bunch of stuff because there was bugs or something?
Yeah, because they said it wasn't working optimum. So they
would rather than disable it for games where it's not working, though, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd rather that than
apart from Mass Effect.
But again, whatever's happening, the Xbox must know if it's doing quick resume for a game or not. So why not make that transparent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. They should make that clearer.
That is, it's been one of the major requests I've seen online is people saying, like, can we just have like a list of which games are currently being held like in this?
Yeah. Like a bar down the right-hand side when you're in the home screen saying which ones are suspended and which ones ain't. That makes a hell of a lot more sense. But yeah, so going over to the Series X then, I mean, there's not much more to add. Other than the fact that console looks dog shit when laid horizontally, doesn't it, Matt?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think
shocking.
it looks amazing vertically, and I think it looks like a disaster horizontally.
Yeah, it does. It looks awful, but thankfully, once we move, I've only got to put up with this for another 4 or 5 days. Once we move, I know that the next, my next setup, it's going to be vertical, so I'm happy about that. I really like the design. I really like how fucking quiet the thing is. The thing is, I literally not heard it since.
That's what I meant to say about the S.
Yeah, it's completely
silent.
Yeah.
I know what you were saying last week. Yeah, I know that was a joke last week, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy that I'm playing really graphic intensive games or games. Not I'm sure there's way more power to be got out of them, but when you're playing Watch Dogs at 4K with ray tracing on and stuff, it's not even you're not hearing a thing. That's pretty,
I will say my
cool.
One X at launch was very, very quiet.
My One X, when I sold it, was very, very quiet. It never made a noise.
The only thing I heard on my One X, I never heard it consistently. No, I never heard it constantly, but every now and then I would kind of hear the fans where it was almost as if it's like it's kicking out dust or something. It would go.
Yeah, I heard you say that, but I never experienced that on mine. It never made a sound. It was nuts.
It was never super loud, but I could hear that at least.
But anyway, so all that stuff is great. what I will say is that I've gone on a bit of a roller coaster with this over the past week or so, a few days that I've owned it. Like when I initially got it, I thought, cool, set it all up, played a few games and thought, yeah, this is really cool. This is nice. This is exactly what I was expecting. This is really cool. Going into it, I was thinking, you know what? It doesn't really matter that they haven't got any brand new games for it. Because I'm playing the games that I love and I'm playing them with all this added stuff, so cool. About 2 days afterwards, I was thinking, there's nothing to play on this fucking thing. Even though there's loads to play on that thing, I wanted something to see what the machine could do. You know what I mean? I wanted to play something that could show me what that machine could do. And the closest I came to it, because, I am playing Watch Dogs and we'll get to that later, but the closest thing that I came to was playing Forza Horizon 4, which genuinely is incredible on a Series X. It's genuinely incredible on a Series X. 60 frames, 4K. I was blown away by how good that looked. They've increased draw distances. They've done some stuff to the lighting, the reflections on the cars and stuff. Not ray tracing, but they've worked on that. But there was part of me just going, yeah, but this is a 2018 game. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a 2018 game. And yes, it does look way better than I've ever seen the game. And yes, I am totally back into Forza again, which is one of the best racing games I've ever played. It really is. I've been hammering it at the weekend and been loving every second of it. But it frustrated me that I'm playing this 2018 game to try and see how impressive this new hardware is, right? So I went through that, and then I was reading up on all this Sony stuff and going, do you know what? They have fucking nailed that now. Like, I mean, when you even compare it back to the PlayStation 4 launch and the games that were available then, most of them, there wasn't anything major. But now we've got Spider-Man that looks brilliant and is a brilliant game. We know it's a brilliant game. Even though we've not played the Miles Morales stuff, we know it's going to be fucking great. You got Astrobot sounds absolutely fantastic. There was some decent reviews coming through for Sackboy. And then you got Demon Souls, right? And that's a good selection of Sony games coming out for that console. And I was just thinking, I was getting like frustrated. Like I had that feeling like I should have kept my One X and then bought a PS5. That's what I should have done, because I can still play all the games that I'm playing on my One X now. But like the games that I'm playing on my Series X at the moment, I could have played on my One X, and then I could have got all that cool new stuff with the PS5, and it was frustrating the hell out of me. But then slowly I sort of got out of that slump, really, and I thought, well, actually, and this isn't like Sony have absolutely killed this launch compared to Microsoft, in my opinion, right? The games they've got out, they look brilliant. They offer new things. They show off the hardware, right? And that's really important. I didn't think it was going into these console launches, but I do think it is important to show off what these new consoles can do. Microsoft haven't done that. And I think they didn't set out not to do that. I think the loss of Halo was huge for Microsoft in this situation. I think them losing that on launch day was a big thing, right? Still stand by, as we said earlier, I think that's the right decision, but them losing that is a huge blow to showing off what this console's all about. But then once I sat and I thought about it, and I thought, well, really, what games would I buy for a PS5? I would buy Sackboy, and Astrobot comes with it. I've got no intention of playing Demon Souls. I'd have probably bought Miles Morales, right? After those games were done, I would have been back in that position where I'm thinking, okay, well, what's next? Right? And we know that there's going to be a while between those games and the next games, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so
I thought that was just a.
You were just going to carry on. Yeah, so did I.
Oh right, okay. Sorry, right. So I just thought I thought, well, no, actually, they've got 7 games coming out in January, and I was going to just start crying. I thought that was where that conversation was going. So I thought, okay, well, let's just use this thing. Let's use this thing as I want to use this thing, right? And just play games with it like I would have on my One X. And I must admit, ever since like sort of digging myself out of that sort of grumpy, totally justifiable frustration that there was nothing new to show off on this box, I've been, every time I've used it, I've loved it more and more, because when Quick Resume does work, it is fantastic. The loading times are insane, as we all know. We all knew this going in. That was the big selling point. And just, I mean, using the UI for online play is as good as it was on the One X, but obviously even better with the fact that everything's so snappy now. Loading up the store, loading up your games, getting into parties and all that sort of stuff. It just feels so fucking easy to use. And then I'm thinking, well, what have we got next month? We got next gen FIFA, we got next gen Destiny, Cyberpunk, hopefully, which is not next gen. It will be the sort of basic version. But I think the way to sum it up is that as a launch, I think it's incredibly disappointing. But the future, we know these boxes are really, really good, right? And unless there's some major problem that emerges over time, like, for example, what happens with the PS4 Pro, where the longer you used it, the louder it got, unless something like that happens, I think we're in for a really good future with I think Microsoft doing a really good future with the Series X. I really do. And definitely the same with Sony with the PS5, because they seem to have knocked it out of the park with the launch. But yeah, so the more I use this console, the more I'm loving it. And now I've sort of come out the other side now. I'm fucking loving the box at the moment. I'm really liking it. So that's where I sit with it. I think they could have done better with the launch, but I think they've nailed the hardware, and that's more exciting in the long run.
They've definitely done that.
Because I was saying last week before, whatever, that, my confusion over what to do about Cyberpunk. Like, do I just get it on PC? Because until the next gen Xbox version arrives, I'm essentially going to be playing the base Xbox One version. I think I'm just going to do that. I'm really not that worried anymore. Yeah. Like having played Destiny and stuff, which we'll get onto in a minute. It's just, again, it's just that convenience of using it. It's just amazing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Next month, the next gen versions kind of come out, and again, this goes back to Watch Dogs. I wanted to make sure that I started Watch Dogs on my One X. So that when the Series X come along, I could see the difference, basically. And I'm so glad I did, because it really did highlight, how much more these machines are doing. And I think when next gen Destiny comes out, you're going to see a big. I
can't fucking wait. It's going to be good. I mean, James, how do you feel about obviously the visual concessions on the Xbox? On the Series S. Obviously, obviously it's not 4K. Are you bothered?
I'm not bothered because I've got it plugged into a 1080p TV. So
well, there you go.
That makes no difference to me whatsoever. But
sorry, go on.
But then I've still been impressed by just how smooth everything is, and even just stupid things like the draw distance on things being like massive and things like that. That's been a big improvement for me. Yeah.
Because it obviously, if you're not aware, so it renders at 1440p, but then upscales that to 4K. Of course, it's not as sharp, but I mean, for the size of my TV and the distance I sit from it, I'm not like, I can't see any jaggies or anything. Looks fine to me. Like, Forza Horizon 4 looks absolutely stunning, 60 frames, etc. Like I've really, I was expecting to get it and be like, play something, even something like Forza Horizon 4 and be like, to be fair, I'm probably going to look at upgrading this in a few years, but I'm really not yet. I'm excited to see what it can actually do. Like, again, I've not played anything truly next gen on it yet. But it's just so impressive for the price. And I'm not saying it's cheap, like 250 quid is 250 quid, especially at the moment. But if you're sitting on the fence because you could probably afford an S but not necessarily an X, like, fucking go for it. Like, I'm so impressed with it.
Yeah,
for the price.
I'd say the same. It's
I still think one of my favourite things about that whole system is just going to your library and then boom, the amount of games that's on there. It's crazy, you know, and the fact that you can just scroll, you can set it by date bought, purchase date, and then you scroll to the bottom and just go, fucking hell, I didn't even know I bought these games. You know what I mean? It's crazy, and I suppose a lot of them are even gold plus purchases, I guess. Xbox Live Gold purchases.
Oh, yeah, because I've got games on there that, I've no recollection of getting, but I must have claimed them as games with gold things. But we've talked before about Microsoft's sort of commitment to backwards compatibility as it's nice to have, and they're only doing it because they're on the back foot with the Xbox One. But actually, it's fucking incredible to be able to get a new console and be like, oh, I could download a Kingdom for Keflings, which I really liked back in the Xbox, early Xbox 360 days, and it'll just work, no bother whatsoever.
Or
most cases.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Or Mass Effect Andromeda, it's a classic.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal achievement that you can just download stuff from 2 generations ago and it's fine.
What's the weirdest game you've played on it, Sean?
Weirdest game I've played on it? I mean,
most
I've not played it yet, but I've downloaded Space Giraffe because I want to see what it looks like with the pretend HDR stuff because I'm intrigued. It's going by Tetris Effect. It could be pretty mental.
Does Doritos Crash Course work on it?
I have no idea. Know. I can't imagine anyone got paid to make sure that.
Yeah. I tell you what I played the other day, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts on it.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember how framey that game was? It actually runs really smoothly on the thing.
Does it?
I was like,
oh my God. Oh, I might have to load that up.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Viva Pinata. Fuck, I can play Viva Pinata. Get in. Isaac will love that as well.
Much, man. What's up?
Yeah, shit.
Go on. There you go.
No, I'm joking. I've kind of basically the same as you, Dave, except I haven't quite hit the peak that you've hit. I think mostly because you're playing a game like Watch Dogs, and I haven't really bought a brand new game. I thought, okay, maybe I'll buy Valhalla. I felt like I kind of was forcing myself to see something that the console can do. And I'm like,
have you tried Forza?
Oh, yeah. I played that. It looks amazing. Yeah, 60 frames makes a huge difference. It looks so sharp. But I know it's an amazing game because I've played it loads on my One X. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just have to buy Valhalla. I haven't up to now. And I thought also, maybe I'll buy Yakuza Like a Dragon. I was so desperate just to see something on this machine because without that, and I haven't had that experience yet. I mean, disappointed is the wrong word. Because there's so much I love about it. I love the pad. I love how the console looks. I think it looks brilliant. It's not too big. I love the design. I love how snappy it is. All that stuff. But then I've disappointed things like quick resume not always working, like you said, with the kind of semi-confusion about whether I've got the next gen version of something or not. So I had, like I said, all my games installed on my external. When I started Forza, because you said Forza's so good, Dave, I started the game. It said, hey, do you want to upgrade? Do you want to download the upgrade pack? And I was like, definitely. So I started upgrading or downloading, the other 60 or gig. And then when I went to play the game, it just wouldn't start. Oh, no, sorry. The game started, you got through to the menu, and then the game properly started, and there's a bit of a cutscene to show that new things were on the map. I clicked start, or enter, whatever it was, and then just nothing. It just crashed. I was like, this is not a great start for his console. Fine, go back into Forza, go through all the menus again, see the map, hear a couple of words of dialogue, then it just goes black. I'm like, okay, this ain't good. I'll try a third time. Yeah, it's another weird crash. I was like, okay, Jesus Christ, the only way to get around this clearly is to delete all of Forza and re-download it. And then when I started re-downloading it, I was like, well, the download's only 80 gig. Like, should this not be 140? Because I thought that was what the size of my other one was. And I asked you, Dave, like, how big's your, how large is the Forza installation? And you said, it's this amount. I was like, okay, I guess I've got it then. But this kind of confusion kind of was taking the shine off things, should I have things installed on internal or external? Will I still get a quick resume? What games are quick resume? Have I got the latest, the X and S optimized patch or not?
Hold on.
So it's been pretty clear, I thought.
Yeah, the same. When you tried to launch it, did it have the XS logo on it?
I can't remember looking at it on. So when I first launched it, they said, "Hey, do you want to download the upgrade?" Which I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Did it come up with that symbol on the bottom right of the icon?
I need to download another 60. I was like, well, that's I will have 100 gig. But then when I deleted the whole thing to re-download it, it was only 80.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the important thing, isn't it? If it's got that logo on it, it should be that Series X or Series S version.
But I was just like, should this not be larger? Because the other one was larger, the combined. But anyway,
but surely you just look at the icon and it tells you.
Yeah, don't worry about the file size and stuff.
Yeah, well, I just quickly downloaded it and went on to do something else. But that was like some confusion I had, which just kind of took the shine off it.
Because if you go to your games library or the games installed or Game Pass, you can filter out all of the old generation stuff.
And I do that now to look at all the games I've got installed. Yeah. So I've got 11 games installed on the internal. I've still got like 47% of the storage left. So pretty good. I think. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, again, it's not like it was where I just had 4 terabytes to throw everything on and not have to ever think about downloading or deleting or reinstalling. But so we'll have to think about that now, which is kind of an annoyance. That's why I like the external drive.
So you've kept everything on what? You've got everything on your internal drive now?
I've got all the stuff that I want to play, which has X and S patches either live or about to be live on the internal. Yeah, I've got like FIFA,
it's the way to do it,
Rocket League, Rainbow Six Siege, Destiny, all that sort of stuff.
I think once you've got that sorted, that's the first. That's done then, isn't it? And I genuinely, I've been thinking about. Actually, this isn't great, but I think this is the way we've got to go this generation with all 3 consoles, is that we got to look at that internal drive like a cartridge slot. Do you know what I mean? All right, it takes 15 minutes to put the cartridge in the cartridge slot, but just imagine you're blowing on it a few times. That's what you're doing. And then swapping it out, because I think eventually I'm going to have to I think I've got like 60% of my hard drive filled up.
I've got 53,
Yeah, but I have got quite a few games on there, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I've got plenty of games. But because I haven't had that, I haven't got Valhalla. There isn't a big launch title. I just felt a bit kind of bummed out. I knew what I was going into, and maybe I was talking to James about it earlier today. Maybe this, if anything, says a lot about how much I love my One X and how fast that was. Like, yes, the OS is quicker now, but I don't think it's like night and day. Actually, I said to James, honestly, I think I had a bigger difference, wow, this is incredible, which was the difference between my original Xbox One and the One X compared to the One X and this. I hated the original one. I thought it was just slow. It's an absolute joke. The One X was like, wow, this is like literally a whole new console. Suddenly it fully flipped. The Xbox was my main one. I love the speed. And this is like, the One X was great up until the end. And this is definitely faster. Obviously, loads of improvements. But with no massive marquee title as well. I'm literally just, I guess I'll play FIFA. Which is fine. Because I'm playing FIFA as I was before, and it's better and faster.
But you've said several times, and I've not got Valhalla. Surely the answer is get Valhalla.
Yeah, get something to play on it.
I'm sure it probably is that, but it's a shame there isn't like a big sort of marquee title that I really want to get, rather than feel like I force myself to get it. But whatever.
I think in terms of the hardware, though, it's like I'm probably happier with this because of the fact that I didn't get a One X, and so
definitely.
Yeah, that's definitely a factor, isn't it? Like, because obviously I only had an original Xbox One for a bit. I didn't use it a huge amount, so to me this is a whole new world that's opened up in front of me. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that I could and have played on Game Pass PC, but the convenience of it, man. Like, I didn't think I minded playing stuff on PC, but I can't be bothered now.
Sean, that's what happened to me, and this was a long time ago, so it's not a reflection on PC gaming at all. But when I went through a period of being a PC gamer for a long time, and then I bought an N64, got given an N64, and I was just like, why was I playing on PC? I put the game in and I'm playing the game. This is great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's always going to be things I can only get on PC. I'll always have space for it, but it's just the general experience. There's no comparison.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you said is right, Dave. Like, this is obviously a really powerful console. Can't wait for what comes out in the future. But right now, I'm not excited about it. Like, I'm tremendously excited about the PlayStation 5 this week. I cannot wait to see that console, play games I can't play on the current PS4, try the pad out, try what feels like genuinely new experiences with Astrobot and the adaptive triggers and stuff. I'm really excited for that in a way I kind of didn't think I would be. This is still my daily driver, still my main console. And
I don't know, man. I don't blame you. I mean, the stuff... I mean, I'm excited for the PS5 and I'm not getting one. Like, it's absolutely killing me that I'm not getting a PS5 this week to the point where I was thinking, sure, finances aren't great at the moment, and sure, we're moving at the end of the week, and sure, we need things like washing machines and stuff and a fridge, right? But can I scrape together the money for a PS5? Can I please do? And when I was even thinking about it, and Joe was clearly reading my mind and was looking at me with a face of thunder. It killed me to know that I'm not getting a PS5 this week. Like, I'm absolutely gutted. Like, I'm excited about it. The stuff you're hearing about Miles Morales, the stuff I'm hearing about Astrobot, and that controller, and it's killing me a bit. It is. I really want a PS5.
See, man, come play Halo 3 with me and James. Will be fine. I know James is getting one.
I'm going to be playing PS5. I mean, I'm with Matt on this because I'm really looking forward to it as well, mostly for the same reasons. It's just, I know that I'm going to have a lot of fun with my Series S over the next couple of years. It's going to be the main console that I'm going to play with people. Like, I know that's what that's going to be like, but I'm still looking forward to the PS5 because I'm hoping it is going to be something a bit new. Even just the case of just like, new UI and stuff like that and new controller. I'm really looking forward to that.
I think I'm done with that side of things though. I'm like, one thing that I've really appreciated about this Xbox is that I know exactly what I'm doing with it. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't have to, I'm not bothered about a new UI.
Are you one of those people that's like, I'm not upgrading for Windows XP. It's fine. I like it. I like how it works. It's exactly what I want. I like Windows XP.
Probably I've got to that age and that stage of my life where I'm like, I'm just so comfortable with using that Xbox system that I just I'm totally fine. I know exactly where I am and what I need to do and how to do things with it. It's great.
Yeah, but consoles aren't about the launch week, and it's about the future and the power.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all want to say that and sound great, and that we're deep thinkers and we can look past the shine of a new console and look at the real, benefits of it. And part of me, Matt, is thinking, like, I think I'm enjoying the console a lot more than you because I'm using it a hell of a lot more. I genuinely think that that's it. Like, I've spent hours and hours and hours on it already, and I went through that process of being disappointed, and I'm out the other side now going, actually, every time I launch this console, it's a joy to use, right? And I'm playing games on it, and I'm really enjoying using it, right? But you say it's not important about the launch week, or that it's not about the launch week, it's about the future. And I look at the Series X and just go, by the fact that third-party games seem to run a little bit better on it, and also the fact that all my friends are on Xbox, right? I know that is my main console, so I'm not regretting my decision of buying it. It's just a bit hard to swallow when Sony seem to have just absolutely smashed a launch out the park with some really good games and stuff that show off how good that hardware is. And call it FOMO, call it what you want. I fucking want a PS5. And you can't... as much as I want to discredit the first few weeks of these consoles launching, I can't, because I'm in that moment thinking, fuck me, man. I wish there was some real killer app that I could play on this Series X. And you look at, Miles Morales, love to play that. Astrobot, love to play that. And even Bugsnax, man. It's like...
Bugsnax, Demon Souls, yes, that point.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't quite get to the end, but basically, I know it's not about launch week, it's about the future and potential, and Xbox and PlayStation 5 both have massive potential. It's going to be a really exciting generation, I think. But part of me still wants that excitement of launch week, and I honestly haven't got that with Xbox. And I know I
think you're right, yeah. No, I think you're right.
There's just no excitement. I mean... Just, to condense it in one word, there's no excitement. I know it's a great console, and I've enjoyed it, and it's going to be my main console, but there's no excitement about it like there is for me with PlayStation 5.
That'll come.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That'll definitely come. It's just a case of...
Yeah, I mean, when they start rolling games out on Game Pass, which is coming, that'll all come. And the other thing that sort of makes me go for the PS5 is, I'd really love a PS5. I'd love, to play. The Sackboy stuff? That's £70. You know what I mean?
It's like I paid $45 for it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I didn't know. I thought they were all £70.
No, they're not. It's like it's as it always is with this stuff. It's like people always go for the highest price, but if you shop around, you can definitely get them cheaper. Like I got it for $45, and Miles Morales the same price.
Okay, cool. All right, well, stop it. I'm trying to talk myself out of it, James. I want to save my marriage.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. I just really want a PS5.
Yeah, it's. But I also think, of the things we're going to get with PlayStation. I mean, we shall save for next week because next week will be the PlayStation discussion. But thinking about the next Naughty Dog game, the next, we've got Horizon 2 coming, we've got God of War 2 coming.
But Horizon 2 is not coming to the end of the year,
We don't know. I mean, there's Ratchet and Clank as well. I mean, that's not a massive system seller, but it's still, that'd be nice, to get that coming.
But no, overall, I like it. I haven't had that launch excitement, but that's just me.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is just you. I think that's me as well. It's not been an amazingly exciting launch for that console. However, I'm very, very happy with the hardware, and I can't wait to see how it pans out over the next few years. Like, I can't wait to see games that are built for it.
And for me, it feels like the big game was Valhalla. Like that basically took the place of any first-party game. That was the big launch title, and so I probably should get it all. I mean, I was so close to go over the weekend, and I thought, no, Matt, you'll play it for like an hour or two and stop.
I mean, everyone says it's great. I mean,
when you've got the PlayStation coming out.
I'm not getting
it.
I'm not getting it because it's Ubisoft, but everyone's saying it's fantastic. Like, even people who aren't generally into Assassin's Creed. So, your call.
Yep. Oh, right. Okay. Cool. Should we get on to what we've been playing then? And I think maybe a good place to start is the two games that I've been playing on the Series X, and I mentioned. Well, I mean, let's face it. What are you going to mention?
It's me.
What are you going to mention? You're going to mention the old version of Forza Horizon 4?
Because you have actually played the new games this week.
That's right. There we go. Just remember that. So I'm really glad that I played Watch Dogs on the Xbox One X before the next gen Series X version come out. Terrible game. Terrible game, that.
Really shite.
There's definitely things to like about it. If we start with how shit and it was just awful on the One X, like really awful. It ran like shit. The loadings were really bad. You press start to bring up the map, and it would take 3 or 4 seconds to load the map. It was a mess. Then when the next gen version come out for the Series X, the instantly you could see how much better it was. Like for starters, the fucking menus worked. There was no lag. There's it looks fantastic in places. Now, ray tracing has been something that's been bandied about a lot. If they get ray tracing right, and if they, there's a lot of talk about how processor heavy ray tracing is, right, and how actually you're going to see it less and less this generation. That's the feeling I've been getting from the articles I've been reading, Sean? Is that about right?
Yeah, if you want to maintain your 60 FPS 4K, then yeah, there's going to be compromises relatively soon, I think. For
sure. And like, for example, with Spider-Man, you can do the ray tracing stuff in Spider-Man, but you're locked at 30, right?
That's right, yeah.
Or you've got the option to turn that off and bump up to 60. I think that's going to be the norm across the board, right? Mm-hmm. Unless they do something to improve that way of doing ray tracing where it doesn't take up so much. And I think they need to do that pretty quickly, because you can see the benefits instantly in Watch Dogs. You really can. It just how everything looks, like a floor, like concrete looks like concrete, and glass looks like glass, and everything just looks way better. And there are bits and moments in Watch Dogs Legion that look absolutely incredible. There's some stuff where ray tracing becomes a problem. For example, if it's hammering down and the whole street's absolutely soaking wet, maybe they're just using it wrong, but it looks terrible in those situations.
It's like a hall of mirrors. It's just everything.
Everything's just looks reflective, and it looks like everything's wrapped in cling film. It's a mess. But moments where you're walking past puddles and walking past buildings with windows and stuff, and seeing the reflections in it and everything, that it's genuinely incredible. So you can see why it's such a big deal.
Can I ask about the next gen thing? So you play on One X, and so when you got so you had the digital version, yeah?
Yes.
And so when you got your Series X, did it say here's an upgrade, or it just downloaded automatically the new version?
I went to do a file transfer between the two Xboxes, but it just didn't seem to work. Like, everyone was going, do that, it's really good, but it just didn't work. So I just re-downloaded all the games and because it's...
Oh, okay.
Well, because I know what I'm doing. I downloaded the Series X version of Watch Dogs. But yeah, I mean, the game itself, I have a lot of fun walking about. I have a lot of fun driving about and seeing places that I know really well and going to spots that I know and visiting places in London that I know. And I had a lot of fun doing that. I really like the idea of hiring people off the street, but the recruitment system is horrible and it makes you not want to do it. So if you want to recruit, the idea with Watch Dogs Legion, if you don't know, is that if you want to recruit someone to your team and turn them into a playable character, you can do that to anyone. You come across anyone in the street, you can recruit them, which is fine. But in order to recruit them, you've got to talk to them, and then they give you a set of missions, and then you go and do those missions, and then they're in your team. The problem is the missions that you go and do are all pretty much the same thing. So if you like a character or you think, I need some more characters or whatever, you just think, this is a ball ache. I need to stop what I'm doing, go out of my way, do these missions that I've done a few times before, just to get this one character. I wish there was a way to just go, you're on my team, you're on my team, you're on my team. Because you're more likely to do it, and you're also more likely to try and go through the game as various different characters that's why. It seems counterintuitive. It's like you can... It's like, the big advertising slogan is you can play as anyone in this game, but in small print it says, but you won't want to, because the process of hiring them is a pain in the arse. The story's terrible from what I've played. I mean, I'm 3-4 hours in. The story's been pretty dire, real basic stuff. The characters themselves really vary on the voice acting, because there's some that you get and the voice acting's terrible. I found this Irish guy with a flat cap. The voice actor for him is absolutely fantastic. So I've been going through the game as him, because it's just, I'm not having to deal with irritating accents. Sometimes the algorithms fuck up, so you're seeing a really posh guy in a suit, or maybe even a tux or whatever, and maybe this is my own prejudgments that need looking at, but when you see someone in the street with their hair slicked back and in a really posh suit going, hey, what's up, bruv, yeah, you just go, have you just put a random voice with a random character and hoped that it works out? Because it doesn't seem believable, it seems weird. And the gameplay itself is just not very good. I'm not enjoying the gunplay. I'm not enjoying the stealth stuff. The hacking stuff is just boring. Now, John's been playing this alongside me, and he said some of the story stuff...
Or socially distanced, I hope.
You know what I mean? He's been playing at the same time. He said some of the story stuff later gets pretty good, but I've not seen any of that stuff. So, as I say, I'm still relatively early on in the story.
Did you play Watch Dogs 2?
I didn't. No, I played 1. I didn't play 2. I know James was a big fan. And we'll get into James' opinion of the game in a bit.
People now looking back at Watch Dogs 2 a lot more favourably.
Well, I think
in
the people that actually played it at the time,
as it's going to get the way,
The people that actually played it at the time look back on it quite fondly.
Yeah.
But the other killer for me is the game just decides not to save sometimes, and that's incredibly irritating. I did this whole long mission a couple of nights ago, then did a short side mission after that. I've gone back to play it today, and I'm back at that mission again, the start of that mission. I thought, for fuck's sake, I had to play that opening mission 3 times. You know the one in Parliament, James?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah.
3 times I had to do that. 3 times.
I didn't want to do it once.
And I'm just... It's really... And, and it is janky, and there's so much wrong with it. I'm not done with it yet. I need to see more of the story to really judge it. But what I would say is that I'm incredibly disappointed by it. Incredibly disappointed, based on what I've played so far. Yeah. James, have you got anything to add? Because you've been playing it as well.
Yeah, I played it a bit, but I strongly disliked it from when I just started. I really, really disliked the story, the way it was going with that, and just the tone of the thing. I just really disliked. I think maybe
I can deal with that though. I can deal with the tone being a bit like.
What would you say the tone is exactly?
The tone is definitely right. So the overall story seems to be quite political, quite strong messaged. but everyone in the game is wacky.
Yeah.
Not wacky enough. Like, not like, you couldn't say around wacky, but everything's like light-hearted. There's a sarcastic robot talking to you throughout the game.
It's that whole thing of like it feels like it's trying too hard, like to be like wacky and cool and that kind of thing. And I just don't think it works at all. And also,
I think... Is that not what Watch Dogs 2 did? Because that was the impression I got from the marketing.
It did, but I think part of the problem now is the environment that this has been released into. Because you know how it's been said, like with Grand Theft Auto, how it'd be more difficult now to put out a Grand Theft Auto game considering what's happened in the world, like with Trump and all that kind of stuff. I kind of feel that this suffers from that as well because of like how the situation is in the UK and maybe in the rest of the world. Like, the way that it's treated in this doesn't feel right at the moment to me. It feels off, and
that's really interesting.
I didn't
because
like it.
I'm about to say something about another game later that kind of goes against that. But that is interesting. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think this is all over the place, but I can kind of deal with that, and I can kind of deal with the shitty voice acting and some of the weird lines in it. But what I can't deal with is the boring, repetitive gameplay, the jankiness of everything. Like that driving, when you're driving a vehicle, it feels like something from the PS2 era. You know what I mean? There's no weight to the cars. You don't feel like you're driving the streets of London. It feels like you're floating above them, about an inch above them. It's weird, man. It feels like it needed a lot more time to be worked on. And I think we're going to see a lot of games like that over the next year or so. A lot of games that got really... I'm not necessarily saying it was hit by the pandemic, but it must have been at some point, right? That must have had an impact on its development.
See, also, visually, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? Like you said, it looks impressive, like in some sections, with like the ray tracing and all that kind of thing, like with the puddles and all that. But character models are awful. Like they're really
character
awful.
Models are shockingly bad. Yeah, they are. And the problem is that when you're doing these generated characters with what seems like random voices, the lip syncing is some of the worst I've seen in a game for years. Like when a character's talking, it's like Terrence and Phillip. It really there's no correlation between the lips moving and the words coming out of their mouths. It's really noticeable. I'll have to make a clip of it, Sean, because you'll belly laugh when you're talking to a character and you're just seeing them trying to say the words. It's like, what? It's bad, man. It is bad. What a shame.
It's a shame because this was directed by Clint Hocking, who did Far Cry 2, and then he left Ubisoft, and then since then I've not really loved Far Cry in the same way, and he's been sort of between a few other studios, and this is the first game he's actually released since Far Cry 2, which is about 15 years ago or whatever, and that's not that long ago, but so I was hoping it was going to be good, but the reviews are lukewarm, weren't they? They weren't like... it's 70s, clearly not shite, but...
It's just, I don't know, I just didn't feel any desire to continue on with it at all. I just thought I'm not interested in these people. The story doesn't feel right to me at all at the moment, and I just thought, I don't want to play this. It's not my thing.
I'm definitely going to keep on with it because there's still so much more for me to see. As I say, this is solely based on 3 to 4 hours of play, maybe even 5, because I spent a lot of time just driving about, and that stuff is great. Just looking about, sightseeing, that's great. Mm-hmm. But the city feels a lot smaller than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
So you can get around it pretty quickly. But, it still has those moments where it's like, oh, my God, I walk down here all the time. Look at this. This is, I've been sending lots of clips to my brother, who obviously, we've been out in London loads. So it's like, do you remember this? Do you remember that place? This, that, and the other. None of the buildings that I worked on are in it. That's disappointing. That was a major disappointment. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm going to put a pin in it at the moment because it feels like I'm slating it based on 3 to 4 hours, and that doesn't seem fair. I need to play some more of it to really, really get a handle on it. But what I've played so far hasn't left a great impression. The other game I've been playing on the Series X, and I believe you've been playing it too, James, has been a massive surprise for me. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah.
Now, I was worried about this because when the beta came out, there was a lot of noise from people who love COD saying this was really disappointing. It was a step back from Modern Warfare, which I played recently, actually. And yeah, it was excellent. I had some really good fun with it. Probably played about 3/4 of the campaign and a few rounds of, team deathmatch or whatever. So I was kind of concerned about this one. But I've got to say, I fucking loved the campaign. As short as it is, and it is pretty short, I really enjoyed the campaign. Have you finished it now, James?
No, but I'm very, very close to the end. And I'm also really digging it as well.
Are you about to start the mission where it says, like, the point of no return?
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay. There's more to that than just one mission.
Okay.
Put it that way.
Well, I've got a side mission I still need to do as well, because I want to... have you done any of those? I mean, there's only 2 of them in the game, but they're still quite good.
No, I didn't.
They're good
and I kind of regret them.
They're great because you pick up the evidence, then you have to like decrypt things to like be able to actually do it successfully. Okay,
so I want to talk to you about this, and this will explain what the way the campaign's set up. This is for you, Sean and Matt. The way the campaign's set up, you've got your usual missions that you usually get in a COD, but between the levels, you sort of have a debriefing in this warehouse or whatever. And the idea is that you can go up to an evidence board and piece together collectibles that you found in those missions, and if you pick up the right ones, then you can decrypt stuff and you can piece together bits of evidence that open up side missions, right? And I think
awesome.
you can go on those side missions at any point, but it practically says, look, you're missing evidence. You're not gonna complete this.
It says
side mission. You'll fail it.
It's kind of like, you could mess this up. Like, there's a good chance you're going to mess this up because you haven't got enough intelligence.
Okay.
Right. So that's interesting. Yeah. The problem I had with it, James, is that I got all the way to the point of no return, right? And I was missing 2 bits of evidence. And the only way to get that evidence back is to go into old missions and replay them.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in and play. Some of them are quite long. Some of them took me about 45 minutes to get through.
And also, you don't. If you're not sure what you're looking for either, it could be a bit frustrating to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You just walk past it. Like, it's a little bit frustrating. And there was one, so I did it once. I went back and played one mission, and I picked up the evidence, and then I went to go to that side mission, but it wasn't for that one. It was for the other one. So I was kind of like, well, that's just wasted time. I don't want to play missions over and over again. I want to just blast through it. But at least they're trying something different, and there are definitely missions in this game that are trying something different, right? You've done the KGB mission, right?
Oh, yeah. I really enjoyed that one.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was brilliant. Yeah. And there's like 2 or 3 missions in this game that really stand out and will remember. How do I put this? Like, one of them was hilarious. The when you go to the training center, where they're training them.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Right, yeah, okay, yeah. That whole bit was fucking hilarious, and it was brilliant.
Like, especially when you burst in through the door, and then it's just you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's fantastic. Like, and this is where I was getting to and what I was talking about earlier, James. And this is what's crazy. I liked Modern Warfare, the campaign, from what I played of it. I certainly think it looked better in places. I certainly feel that the enemy AI in this one, I don't know what's going on, but it's shocking. Like, there's moments where like enemies are just standing out in the open, not shooting at you, just standing there, and you just point and kill them, and you just like, or you'll hit them in the chest or whatever, and it will show that you've hit them, and they just carry on standing there looking about, and you're just thinking, what's going on here? But so that stuff was way better in Modern Warfare, but I feel like I enjoyed my time with this one more because Modern Warfare, the last year's one, was trying to be serious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we've always praised, for example, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare for sort of that grittiness of that campaign and making you feel horrible and showing you how horrible bits of war can be, right? But now it kind of feels like, we know war's horrible. We know that. Can we just have a bombastic, war-based, stupid story, wicked music playing over the top, silly moments that make you giggle? It felt to me that Black Ops was set up as sort of like an answer to Bad Company, right? I mean, it didn't go as far as that.
I mean,
that's
see, me playing this, it feels like this really feels to me like you're playing like a James Bond film. Do you know what I mean? It's like it feels more like that than something which is like definitely more serious. I mean, they've taken
100%, yeah.
And they've taken. I like what they've done with the story with this because they've taken like historical events and they played with them, and that's okay. Like if you're going to do that, and then turned it into sort of a more sort of interesting narrative, but there is stuff in that which it is clearly they're playing it in a more sort of James Bond style rather than serious. Because I mean the Lubyanka
100%,
like the whole thing. Like you said, the KGB building, like the Lubyanka building, that has got a horrific history, and it's like going in there. I was really shocked actually that you actually got to like infiltrate that building because what goes on in there like for the last 100 years or so is horrific, but there's no sort of mention of that really.
What happens in the last part of that level is just must be so satisfying.
Yeah.
So just the way you get out of it is like, I love that bit of the game. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I was way more invested in the story than I was in Modern Warfare because I was paying attention more, really, because it was more of an enjoyable campaign.
Even the characters, which are like massive, sort of like cheesy kind of stereotypes,
cliches,
still kind of works though, doesn't it? It's like I still felt like
I need to talk to you after the last mission about some of the dialogue between two of them because it was so stupid, like so fucking stupid that we need to talk about that. But and it tries new things right up to the end. There's dialogue choices which, all right, the majority of them are yes, yeah, and okay. Like, which one are you going to choose? And there's there's different endings and stuff like that. It is.
There are some branching paths, aren't there? Because there was one point where I did something which then had a repercussion later. I mean, I'm sure that it probably would have ended up with the same consequence, but just framed differently.
Definitely.
But it still feels kind of nice, doesn't it, when they do that sort of thing? It's like, I hope they start to do that more going forward, because it's always nice having a bit of choice.
Same here, yeah. I think it's a very, very good COD campaign. There are some shit levels. There are some weird moments where some of it looks absolutely incredible, some of it looks really basic. But what I will say is that I enjoyed it from start to finish, really. Very surprised by that. Very surprised.
You are playing the next gen version. It's out now. Is it?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's got ray tracing in it, but I don't know if you've seen the comparison videos of the PS4 and PS5 version.
No.
They look identical. So there's nothing that really sticks out. There's certainly things that I thought looked better in Modern Warfare, which was an Xbox One game, than in this, than anything in this. But there are moments where it looks fucking brilliant as well, So, yeah, strange one, but I would certainly say it's worth giving a go. It's just the cost of the thing, it is quite expensive for what is essentially, if you're only interested in a campaign, it's what, 5 to 6 hours, I think, in total.
It's very short.
I haven't played the COD for ages, but apart from Modern Warfare 2, when I was obsessed with multiplayer, I've really only played them if I have for the campaign, and this seems like a good one to jump in on. 5 to 6 hours, I don't mind. I mean, I think that's a good length for a campaign.
It's not.
So I'm tempted.
I was dying for more. Which kills me that I didn't do the side missions.
That's great as well, though.
I need
That's
to go back and do them. Go back and do them. But anyway, I have also been playing the multiplayer, and look, cards on the table, I'm not the biggest Call of Duty player. Like, I don't play it throughout the year. I don't follow all the updates. I don't get excited for the new maps that are coming out. So if you are like that, my opinion that may not necessarily reflect yours. But I've been fucking loving it, man. Like, really, really enjoying it. And yeah, I'm getting killed loads, but I'm getting kills in. I'm upgrading my guns.
What game modes have you been playing? Standard.
Team Deathmatch, Domination, the big war mode where there's lots more players and stuff on much bigger maps. Some of the maps seem a bit weak, but some of them seem really strong as well.
Sorry, James, is it called Warzone? And David called it the Big War.
No. Sorry, we're talking about two different things. So Warzone is Warzone's the battle royale thing, but there's also a multiplayer game mode which is just like a normal Call of Duty match, but with a lot more players in much bigger maps. So you're still playing Domination, but there are a lot more players on each side. So I've not played I've not played Warzone yet.
The way that they've handled Warzone with that is really weird, because I thought that what they were going to do was that, because obviously Warzone's their big thing now, like they really push it like in a big way because it seems to be very successful, and it's you can download it as a standalone, or it's part of Modern Warfare as well. And I just thought, okay, well, they're going to continue on with it, and it's going to be part of this as well. Like, you could just choose it, and then it will load, like, the Black Ops version of this, but it's still Warzone, it'll still connect with all the others. But it doesn't work like that. If you choose it in the menu, it opens Modern Warfare. And, like, that version of Warzone, it's really strange. Like, it's there as a menu option.
Weird. I wonder what happens if I do that, then.
I don't know. It probably may prompt you to download, like, Warzone. Like as a standalone or something, I'm not sure.
I wonder if it does. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah, although I'll
try that in a bit.
But you've got Modern Warfare as well, haven't you? Because I've
not
got
installed on my Series X.
Yeah, it's very weird.
So I'd be interested to see what happens. But yeah, obviously I've not tried the zombies, but the multiplayer I've really been enjoying. And I said to John and I were playing it last night, and I said to him, "Do you know what I hope? All of the hardcore players prefer Modern Warfare." So that they don't play this version, and then I've got a chance to play with, all the elite COD players. Like, don't play this one. It'll be like my haven to get to grips with. So, I mean, I'm bang into it at the moment, and I am going to I might even get a couple of games in after this podcast. Like, I'm thinking about it constantly. I need to play some more Call of Duty Online.
Another thing
James
I've read
should
about
join me
this.
at some point.
Yeah, I would like to, because as I said, I'm really enjoying this. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I watched a video a couple of days ago about how the COD works on PlayStation 5 with the triggers and stuff. And I said to you, this might make you want to get it on PlayStation, but then you'll be like, well, we're all playing it on Xbox.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, yeah, the triggers sound cool and everything, Matt, but if you're going to play the online stuff, man, get it on Xbox.
Well, if I am, I will, but if I'm just going to play campaign, I mean...
Okay.
Who knows?
Okay. I would say if you're going to spend that amount of money...
I was going to say,
on
campaign's only short.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, I'll put... I mean, who knows where I'll get it, but...
I know what you're going to do. You're going to buy the PS5 version. Guaranteed.
No, not necessarily.
For the triggers.
But either way, I'm definitely interested in playing this more after hearing you guys talk about it. I've seen, obviously, it's reviewed well and stuff, but it's good. It's good to know. Really, the campaign feels different to how I would imagine. It's not just a standard level.
Okay. There's one level. There's one level where you're doing stealth, and the stealth is hilarious because. I mean, you could just shoot someone and then just play COD. Like it. It was when you're walking, you're in the snow, I think, James, and there's a stealth bit.
Yeah.
And and I was like, okay, I've got to get past this guy. I've got to watch out for that spotlight. I've got to do this, and then I got caught, and I thought, oh God, I'm gonna have to do that all over again. Oh no, they're still shooting at me. Okay, I'll just shoot them all, and then all you get was like one line from a character at the end, just going, "You're supposed to be quiet. You call that quiet?"
Yeah,
I got it. And I was like,
I got another one where they're like, the whole Soviet army's going to know we're here now. It's like,
yeah, I know, yeah, and I'm like, fine, as long as I don't have to do stealth. And yeah, that KGB mission, I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it's so basic compared to something like Hitman or whatever, where you're trying to break into something.
But still tense though, isn't it? I still felt tense doing it, which was good.
I've got to ask you how you did that after the show, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, because there's multiple options, isn't there, as well? Yeah.
Oh God, there's so many options. Yeah. And I think, depending on evidence that you collect in previous missions, you've got more options. I think. I need to look into that, but that's how it felt. Yeah, so Cold War, the surprise... I'm genuinely surprised. I was really worried about this after hearing all the stuff about the beta. And then hearing that the campaign was really short, it's really good. I want to play more Call of Duty.
Well, it's we can wrap this up. It's possible.
Don't send me, Jack.
Look at that. He's gone from moaning about it to bargaining. So, well, if we stop recording now, we can play more Call of Duty.
Matt, your turn. You're up. You got your moment now. Me.
I mean, I haven't really played much. I did
do Come on, Matt.
I did install, obviously, a lot of games on the Xbox, and I did the thing I would do. It feels like almost thrice yearly now. I started No Man's Sky again. Up to now, I've been playing No Man's Sky here and there on PlayStation, but obviously it's on Xbox on Game Pass, and I wanted to see it. Sorry?
How long did you last?
Well, I mean, I've only played like half an hour, and
okay,
yeah. So I've done it. I must have done this, I reckon, 7 or 8 times now. After different patches have dropped on No Man's Sky. Mm-hmm. This is the only game where I would be deleting my save or just starting again every single time. I've done that so often. Every time there's a new update or a new big patch, I won't just continue on. I would always just start again and see what the onboarding's like and see how they've started the game.
And it's weird, isn't it? Because you are like, oh, this is like 95% the same.
Yeah, it is. But I'm also continually impressed with how they've changed it. If I
it's improved loads.
I think back about what it's like. Yeah. When I got on on PS4 years ago now. Yeah. How different it feels, and like today I play it on Xbox, and up to now just been PlayStation. But yeah, like there's way more introduction about what you're supposed to do. When I played it originally on PS4, it felt like, okay, you're on the planet now, just find out what the hell's happening. And in some ways that was great because there's a lot of mystery about, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? It feels like you felt like you really were just dumped on the planet and you had to try and survive and fix things. Now there's loads of flavor text about go here, go there, you should do this. There's the menus with, you've seen these many things on this planet.
There's a bit of a story now as well.
Yeah, there's a bit of a story, but it feels like it's much more guided. It's much more like a standard game where, there are almost like checklists, and you've seen all these things on this planet. You've seen these amount of flora and fauna, and here's where you should go, which is just interesting to see. But mostly on Xbox, I wanted to see what it's like in terms of 4K 60. It just runs so well. I mean, it did fully chug on PlayStation when it first came out, and they've obviously made loads of improvements since then, but it just looks absolutely gorgeous. I landed on this planet which had what looked like the rings of Saturn, but incredibly close to the planet I was on. So they were a different planet, but right next to us, and it just looked amazing. I mean, No Man's Sky has always done that with incredible sort of space vistas, space landscapes that just and again, as a fan of space, it's awesome to see. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more I'll play. I probably won't. I'll probably stop now until the next patch comes out, until the next DLC comes out. But it's awesome to be back in that world. And I had like another little adventure where I was meant to go to a certain place, and I fell down a hole, thinking, okay, this might be a shortcut. Tried to make a jump, failed the jump, and I was suddenly stuck in like a massive underground cavern. And one of the things I wanted the game to be about when I first got the game on PlayStation was, oh man, I wish I could dig underground. I wish when you go just below the surface, there is so much more to see and do. And back then there was nothing really. You could dig very well. You couldn't dig, but even like the sort of dynamically generated planets where they had a bit of an area you can go beneath the surface. It wasn't very detailed, there wasn't a lot. But here, there was like a massive underground cavern. It's like, this is exactly the sort of stuff I wanted when the game first came out. And yeah, had a bit of an adventure trying to get to the ship, and it was really exhilarating to get out or find my way out and get back to the ship and fix it. And even that little sequence I must have done 7, 8, 9 times now on now 2 consoles, and after multiple patches, it's still great. It's still fun, and this game looks and performs so well on Xbox Series X.
Are there more patches planned? I thought they said they were done.
No, I don't think so. I mean, they've only just brought another patch out that they didn't even announce. It just it was like the day before. Like, oh, by the way, there's a massive next gen upgrade, and also it brings a load of, like, some new stuff to the PC as well. And it's like they're just going to keep going with it, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy how much they've done. I mean, I can't remember all the things they've done, but obviously base building and multiplayer and up. I think it's like 32 players now can play together, and it's crazy what they've done to that game. And it's a joy to play, even just that first bit again. You said you've played it again, haven't you, Sean, on the S?
Yeah, so I've been playing it on the Series S, been having a really nice time playing it with Isaac, because he obviously can't actually play it, but just putting it in creative mode and just like saying to him, like, right, it says this planet's icy, this one's like, there's like different descriptive terms for all the different planets. So Mario, which one do you want to go to? And he'd be like, oh, the hot one or the icy one or whatever. I'm like, right, fine. And then we'll fly down and then we'll just go around looking for animals. And he'll see, like, and because he twigged that I was doing you scan the plants and animals and stuff and you get a bit of information about them. And he sort of twigged that was going on. So every time he'd see a new animal, he'd go, measure it. So I have to get the scanner out and measure it. And then he'd be like, what's it called? And read the name out. And it's proper nice. And it like properly chills him out as well. Like if he's like tired and he's being a bit of an arsehole, which is basically a daily occurrence at the moment. It's just been a really nice thing to stick on and do that. And obviously just playing it in creative, you don't really get the proper experience. But yeah, and like there's loads of new ships as well now, isn't there? There's like the sort of base designs with sort of random elements attached, but then there's like really unusual like special ones as well. Which are like a proper little occasion when you see one, you're just like, holy fuck, that looks amazing. It's really good. Like obviously it's different when you've seen it evolve over all this time. You sort of you remember how it was, and you remember that initial reaction to it, which we were part of. It was disappointing initially, but like if you came to it now like completely fresh, it's fucking great. It's really good.
But I'm getting pleasure just going back to it and seeing the updates.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, and like I said, there's no other game where I would just constantly be starting again this many times just to see what it's like and how it works. And it's kind of fascinating to see it evolve that way as well.
Yeah, totally. And like the underwater stuff as well. Like the fact
I haven't even seen that or tried that yet.
Yeah, there's just tons of stuff underwater now, like the amount of like plant life and animals and stuff. And then I think because you can build underwater bases now as well. It's nuts.
Yeah. But apart from that, and Forza and a little bit of FIFA and a little bit of that, this and that, it's been a busy week.
FIFA, you doing campaign?
I don't know why, because I know it's going to get wiped, but I just wanted to play some more, and we haven't played much in the evenings because I've been busy, so just had a couple of games.
We need to get our pro clubs back together, really.
Okay. But that's me. Yeah, been a busy week.
Hello, I've been playing Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
Let's hear about it.
New expansion.
Here goes.
I also installed this because again, that's what you do when you get a new console.
I will try not to go on for too long because it's probably all I'm going to play for the next few weeks. So let's spread it out. So this is the big new expansion for Destiny 2. It's on Game Pass, but there's expansions and then there's seasons which are separate. So you get the expansion, but you don't get the season. So you'll still be missing out on some stuff unless you pay about £7 for the season pass, but whatever. So there's a new story campaign, there's a new location. Controversially to some, they've like deleted half the planets in order because the game was physically becoming too large, and I think I can't remember if it was PlayStation or Xbox, but basically one of the console's ecosystems just like could not support it getting any larger. But as I've mentioned before, it's been done in quite a cool way. There is a story reason behind it, and it's all sort of been written in quite well. We've got this new location, Europa, which is one of the moons of Saturn, Jupiter. Don't know.
Yeah, Saturn.
Is it Saturn? Yeah. And it's all icy and snowy, and it's quite beautiful. Like I always
it's Jupiter. My bad.
Oh, it's Jupiter. Okay. It's like I always forget how good Destiny 2 looks, and then when I go back to it, and especially because I've been used to playing the PC version, and I was like, I'm going to be playing this on the Series S, and it's essentially going to be the base Xbox One version. It's 30 frames, which is a climb down for me being used to the PC version, but you soon get used to it. And it still looks fucking stunning. Like the environments, on Europa, are nice enough as it is. The sort of the outdoor areas are all like they all look pretty similar, right? It's all just ice and snow everywhere you look. But then within that, there's a few like really cool like indoor places. So there's the basically the factory. So exos, like when you first make your character, you can be an exo, which is essentially a robot with a human's brain put in it. You find where they were made, right? And it's just I don't know what it is. It's like it's the visual design of it, the lighting. It's just this really cool, stunning environment. It's just absolutely fascinating to wander around. And then on top of that, you've also got... So the story is basically that the Fallen, one of the enemy races in the game, have basically been setting up on Europa. They've kind of settled there, and they've started building this city, and it's by this point it's pretty sizable. And you get to go in it, and you see quite a bit of it, and it's just this really cool glimpse into what Fallen Society, once looked like and is trying to recreate. But of course, the story is basically this one Fallen person called Aramis has started using the darkness, right? Because we're Guardians and we're all about the light, but the darkness is bad. But obviously, so Aramis has started using the darkness, and it's twisted.
I never understood that. Light beats dark easy. If it's dark, you put a bit of light in, dark's gone. Yeah. Easy. Fucking, you just get your phone out, put a torch on.
Yeah.
Done. Beaten.
Done.
Losers.
And it's just this whole thing that Aramis was like, once had noble ideals, and then she started using, darkness power, and it twisted her mind, and now she's going nuts and being really aggressive and unleashing like the Vex everywhere, the time traveling robots. It's like story-wise, it's pretty typical Destiny nonsense. I mean, it's fine, but you can pretty much ignore it if you really care about the story. It's all mostly tucked away in like lore entries and stuff anyway. But it's fine. And yeah, so you gotta kill her and get her out of the way. But then obviously you do the campaign in like 4, 5, 6 hours. And then, as is always the case with Destiny, it turns out that's not even nearly scratching the surface. So it gives you a bit of a story, and then it all spreads out into all sorts of different activities and objectives, and finding new gear and what have you. The story missions are great; they're really good fun. They're quite hard. Even like a day or two in, I saw on like YouTube a lot of like Destiny accounts are like, here's how to grind for a bit before you do the campaign, which is kind of silly because it regardless of whether you're a returning player or a new one, like you'll start at the same power level rather at this point. It starts you all at 1050 and then you go from there. So it's like, well, if you giving me if you're just assigning me a power level going forward and then almost immediately making the campaign of the new expansion a bit too hard for most people.
Yeah, it feels like that should be the first thing you can blast through, right?
Yeah.
That's what you usually do in those
exactly.
games.
And it's like, maybe they were trying to, just sort of extend it a bit because Destiny players love it when things take longer than it should. But it's just, as you say, but that campaign, you're supposed to be able to just blast through it, and then all the slightly grindy but arguably more interesting stuff comes after that. So it's a bit of a weird decision, but I think as long as you just sort of pace it, so if you like do a story mission and then dip out again, just do some patrolling, do some events, some patrols, or a couple of strikes or gambit or whatever, you'll probably be fine. And it's just I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying it.
Did you say there was a new social space on that planet?
No. Social space is still the tower. But yeah, and so the other major thing is that there is a new subclass for whether you're a Titan, Hunter or Warlock. There is now you get to wield the darkness, guys, for the first time. And it's supposed to be like this big story moment, right? Because again, all your powers are light based and they're bestowed upon you by the Traveler. And it's supposed to be this big deal that it's like, ooh, but if we use the darkness, does that mean we're baddies? Spoiler, no, not really, because that's the new thing that's in the new expansion. So,
everyone's doing it.
Yeah, it's and it really sort of lays it on thick, oh man, but what's going to happen to us if we start using the darkness? Well, it might be really bad. It's no, it won't be. It clearly won't be. It's the new cool thing that you are selling to me, so clearly it's going to be fine. And spoilers, it is. So so they sort of try and do that, but it doesn't really stack up because you're just like, yeah, but this is really good fun using the new powers, and they are really good fun. They're absolutely hilarious. They're all sort of ice based, right? So as a hunter, you get like your melee ability is like a little icy shuriken that you throw, bounces between enemies and freezes them. The grenade, you lob it at the ground and it creates like a wall of ice in front of you, which so it blocks enemy fire and can freeze them, but you can also then shoot it and it explodes and sends ice shards flying everywhere, which can then damage enemies. So it's really versatile because you can just use it as a damage dealing thing, but you can also use it to control space or, it feels really fucking cool if like one of your fire team, gets killed and you need to revive them and there's enemies coming at you and you just fucking leap in, bang, grenade on the ground, wall just comes up and then you can just sit there and heal them. Awesome. While like no one can get near you. Feels great. And then the super is like, I honestly can't even fully comprehend what it does. You throw these little ice axes at the ground, you throw like one after the other, and I think one just creates an explosion of ice stuff and then the other one creates this like storm, so it sort of carries on sort of freezing and damaging enemies for a bit. And it's just the sheer spectacle of it is just fucking ludicrous. Like, it's just unbelievable how much mayhem you can cause with these new abilities. I mean, it's almost to the point that it's kind of a problem that going back to the original 3 subclasses might seem a bit dull in comparison.
But does this new subclass, does that feel way more powerful than the others now?
I mean, it does.
Are they going to have to buff it?
I mean, maybe it's just because it's new and it just seems more interesting. And obviously, the stuff in the new expansion kind of requires it. There'll be enemies that you have to use these, darkness powers on, in order to be able to damage them in some cases. But also, and the other trick is that it's way more customizable than all the previous subclasses have been. And so once you finish the campaign, you unlock the new subclass, and then there's like umpteen other activities you can do that then unlock different customizations, which will then tweak all the different abilities in different ways. Because apparently this is something that players have been asking for since Destiny 1, because that had loads of customization. And then for Destiny 2, they went, well, although there was loads of customization, it basically people sort of settled into a number of like good configurations. So we'll just make those, right? So they took a lot of the customization out. And now people are kicking off, they want it back. So that's been put back in with these new subclasses. Cool. So yeah, it's great. And I'm really excited to just crack on with it.
How easy is it for me to get back into?
Honestly, I think it'd be fine, man.
Okay.
Because you should be able to just pick up the new campaign pretty much immediately. As I say, it's in terms of power level and stuff. I mean, just give me a shout and I'll get you through the campaign. We'll be fine if we do it together.
I don't know whether to wait. I suppose it depends on how long this Call of Duty addiction lasts for.
If you want to hold off until the next gen stuff kicks in, I mean, whatever.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. But then you're going to be like, well, I'm going to play with you. Look at your level.
I'm level 6 million, so
I can't be seen dead walking along with you, you basic armour.
When is the next gen thing happening?
Is it like the 6th of December or something?
Yeah, early December. It's a few weeks away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I might just wait. Yeah, I might wait. I should wait.
I'll be up for playing it again, Dave. So let's do it.
Man.
I was going to
get it on PS5. Use those triggers.
I was going to ask you, like, what's it like to play on Xbox? But then the characters move over, so
they do.
Bad, is it?
Yep. Everything's cross save, so I've basically just carried on as it was, which is nice. And as I say, and this is why, I mean, it's a stupid comparison to make, really, but this is why I'm not worried about the Cyberpunk stuff anymore, because I thought I was going to play this on the Series S and without the enhancements be like, oh, actually, this is quite shit and compromised. It's really not. It still looks great. Yeah, it's 30 frames, but that'll get bumped up, whatever. The loading times are ridiculous. So much faster than I'm used to. Even...
Oh, yeah, that is nice. Yeah, I loaded it up today to see what the deal was. Mm-hmm. And the fact you can... Even like the bit where you see the ship before you go down to a planet, that's so much quicker now.
Yeah, it's ludicrous.
Love it.
Overall, well into it. I mean, it's, over the next year, there'll be different seasons and stuff. The seasons haven't always been great. There've been some that have just been outright shit and the community's just hated them. So this isn't like, I'm not necessarily saying, yeah, definitely get this will be amazing, we'll play this for the next year, because it can still go up and down. But yeah, so far, well into it.
Excellent.
Cool.
And that's basically it, other than other bits and pieces. I mean, Tetris Effect, turns out that's still an all-timer. Did you know?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying playing that. You need to try and bring my sprint score. I need someone to...
That's the point, yeah. I'll have a look.
I need a friend to beat my sprint score. Thank you.
No worries.
Right. Are we doing this?
Are we doing what?
Letters.
I think
are we doing telegrams?
James needs to talk about Mass Effect Andromeda in 2020.
Yeah, I've still got more.
Oh, I thought we'd done James. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. I've not played it. I've only played it for about 4 or 5 hours, but it's.
James is like, don't let me hold you up, guys. Let's get.
Yeah. I want to do the emails and stuff. No,
and how you find that?
Well, it doesn't seem to be as much of a technical mess as I'd heard it was when it came out. I mean, there's still things about it that are odd. Like, the movement is always a bit odd, and the facial animations in particular.
The facial animation's still all over the place, yeah.
Really, really strange.
I'm sorry, my face is tired. Still one of the funniest things I've seen in ages.
That's the other thing, because some of the dialogue in this is really weird. Like, you can understand like the stuff with the with the facial animation things, but why did someone write that line? And then
I know it makes no sense.
I just think it was fine. It's just very strange. I mean, yeah, it's fine. It seems fine so far. There's a couple of reasonably interesting characters, but it doesn't feel like it was finished properly. And but I'll go back to it after I've.
That's because it wasn't.
After I've done Call of Duty.
They ditched the updates pretty early, didn't they?
Yeah.
It come out. Yeah, I remember pretty soon after it coming out, it was done. They backed away from it, which is a shame. But
well, it is a shame because the premise is quite interesting. Like this idea of like going off, like very, very far away. I don't know why they had to go that far away, but they decided to, and trying to explore and everything. That's quite interesting. But then I wasn't very. I mean, maybe I'm wrong because I don't know where the story's going. But it's like they got like these villains that just seem very villainous, and I was a bit bored by that. I was thinking it'd be more interesting, to have something with a bit more sort of shades of grey, but I don't know. Maybe it will have. I just don't know where it's going yet.
Where do you think they're going to go? So there's a new Mass Effect in the works, right?
Yeah.
Where'd they go?
Well, they're probably going to. I bet they do the thing that they often do with this. It's going to be like a prequel or something, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, it needs to be set in the future," and I agree with that. But I could see it being a prequel. Maybe it's going to be a prequel.
Well, because they built up a lot of lore, didn't they, in like the first 3 games of like when the Mass Effect stuff was discovered, and then you've got like the human Turian Wars and all that kind of thing. There's a lot of stuff there you could do.
It'll be in that, guaranteed. Yeah,
that's what I thought they were going to do with Andromeda before they announced what that actually was. I mean, the Andromeda idea is good.
Yeah.
Let's take a bunch of ships with people on them and send them, to another quadrant of the galaxy, and it's, whatever it is, 500 years on. So it brings some of the, the issues and relationships and stuff that we're familiar with, but in a new place. It's just a good idea. It's just that the game doesn't quite.
I'll tell you what, Sean.
No, it doesn't get there.
They've achieved the future stuff a lot better than they have done in Star Trek Discovery. So which is basically
because I really like so obviously everyone just gets put into cryo sleep and they're sent off on this voyage, and then you wake up and things have gone wrong, and there's this whole concept that like they can't just wake everyone up immediately because there's nowhere for them to settle. Like the idea is that everyone's going to live on these planets, and I do think they do some cool stuff with that in the writing, at least.
Mm-hmm.
In that there are situations where people are like, "I've been unfrozen, and my fucking wife is still frozen, and what happens if like this takes like 10, 20 years before we sort this out?" And it's like,
please let it take 10, 20 years before you sort it out. I'm sorry, that was a proper holiday camp comedian. my wife's been frozen for a couple of years. I'm saying, anyway, I might get any longer. Well, you don't like the clever shit, do you?
You know what I mean? It's a good sci-fi concept and well applied to people and how they might feel about it. And I really liked that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the elements of the game don't quite live up to some of the ideas in it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be done talking about Mass Effect Andromeda and get on to the
cool new
facts
game
machine. Let's read those facts.
If you want to send us a fax, visit tcgs.co/dear TCGS. A swankily jumbo sherbet. I don't think that's their real name. It says, Dear TCGS,
Liar.
I've been playing Hades on the Switch since its launch. I've been doing this exclusively in handheld mode as I'm a sucker for punishment. I have noticed, though, is that my left stick is a bit absent-minded and consistently takes Zagreus on a merry romp invariably into a trap, and it all gets a bit burny and Tartarus. Is this the dreaded drift?
Yes.
Regardless, it will not do. I've noticed that there are now myriad third-party Joy-Cons that are materially cheaper than Nintendo's own, but are they worth it, or are they a fool's errand? Do you or the listener base have any recommendations in this area?
Oh, do you know, have I got to say this again?
Yes.
Hold on, all right, chill out.
It's been a while,
it's
been a while, James.
The same question, and I keep saying the same thing over and over again.
It's been ages. We haven't talked about this for months.
No one listens.
Why have you got to get angry?
Wow.
Just they might be a new listener.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we do have new people listen to the show, James. You thought about that?
I want to do a pinned tweet. I don't know. It's
running out.
No
of pinned
one
tweet
follows
space.
you on Twitter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Go on, James. Tell us.
Contact cleaner. That's all you need. And then it fixes the problem. I mean, okay, it doesn't permanently fix it, but for like a couple of pounds, you just squirt it in there whenever it happens. Then you do it again if it happens again a couple of months down the line.
Squirt it in there is not enough. Look, go to Amazon, order some. What is it? Is it WD-40 is the brand?
Yeah, it's one of those, yeah.
Contact cleaner.
Then just go on YouTube and watch a video of how to do it. It's dead easy.
Yeah, go because it is dead easy, but it's not as easy as you might think. There is like a certain place you're supposed to spray some contact cleaner. It totally worked for me, and it works for James.
Yeah, worked for me as well, yeah.
Yeah, spray a little bit in there, and then you wiggle it about, and then you dry it off, and then it works perfectly. But this is the drift. If you're worried that it's the drift, if you go into the system settings and then go to controller and there's something like controller configuration, and you can pick the Joy-Con, click in the stick that you want to test, and just move it about a bit, and you can see that it's not picking it up correctly. That's Joy-Con drift. That's the thing that everyone's talking about. If it doesn't work, if the visual graphics of what the controller thinks it's doing and what you're actually doing is different, that's what we're referring to. However, if you don't fancy doing that and you want to try one of the sort of third-party Joy-Cons, then I can really recommend the Hori Joy-Cons. I think they only do them for the left one, though. I don't think they do them for the right one. But I've got a Mario branded one. It doesn't do rumble. It only works when it's connected to the controller. But if you're only playing in handheld mode anyway, it's like 20 quid.
I was going to say, because you
like
can also get I think they're usually going relatively cheap. The Joy-Cons they did for Demon X Machina, the mech game. I think they're Hori as well. Yeah, they're pretty big, but apparently they're comfy as fuck, and they work really well, and they're nowhere near I think they're at half the price of a pair of actual Joy-Cons. So, if you're just playing in handheld mode, it might be worth it.
They do look horrific, yeah.
They do look quite horrific.
But these Hori ones that I'm talking about, they look like a Joy-Con, but they've got like a Zelda version and a Mario version.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But
that's right. So, yeah, it's just the left one, isn't it? Because it's got a D-pad
it's just
on
the left
it.
one, It looks pretty good. Yeah, it's got the D-pad. That was the sort of selling point rather than the buttons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's options, but I absolutely recommend the contact cleaner method because it'll fix it. It will fix it for... I mean, mine's been going for about 7 months and it's been fine.
Yeah, and then if it happens again, you just do it again.
Just do it again. Yeah.
It doesn't take very long.
Cool.
Sorry,
you're right, James.
Yeah, sorry, I just got... no, it's because this question comes up a lot. Like, it comes up very frequently, and it's just like...
That's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's not as frequent as, like, what console should I get or what's good on Game Pass. It's up there.
Have you ever hated a game and then enjoyed it after a while? That's the one that gets me. I mean, they'll never get angry.
What do you recommend for Switch?
Yeah, recommend me some games for Switch.
Switch.
Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS Coast to Coast host." I like
that's
that.
a pretty good one. I like that.
Yeah, that's all right,
Maria, is that a reference to Space Coast to Coast? Because if it is, favourite listener status confirmed. James mentioned his reluctance to return to the world of Dark Souls when asked about his streaming plans. The next morning, the thought of Mr. Farley as a character in that world almost made me choke on my breakfast. So I thought I'd ask if you could turn each of your co-hosts into an existing NPC in Dark Souls, who would they be? Keep up the stellar work.
Oh, James is the onion bro, right? Oh, 100%.
Oh, is it? I was going to say he's the crestfallen warrior.
Yeah.
No, because the way the onion bro... Oh, no, you're probably right, actually. It's hard between the two, isn't it?
No, I mean, Onion Bro's good. Because he's sort of...
like... it's the amount of times you just walk past them and they're like, and he's sleeping.
But he is actually cool.
At one point.
Like, he does prove his worth. Just like our James. I mean, beyond that, one of us has got to be Patches, the backstabbing cunt who kicks you in the pit.
Oh, that's Matt.
Is that Matt? Okay.
Yeah, Matt's Patches.
Matches.
Well,
Matches.
You stole cereal off my child.
Yeah.
Apart from that one.
What was the other thing? You edited out people's laughing at my jokes. You've edited that out of the podcast. There's been some other stuff where didn't he? There was that whole period where people were going crazy at you, and you got booed at Red.
Yeah, it was horrendous. I mean, I was actually scared to open Discord and Twitter for many months. Every time I saw a notification pop up, I generally had like something in my stomach. Go, oh no, what is this?
You stole my title of the main one. Stole that off me.
So what you're saying is that you got no examples, is what you're saying.
There was 3 examples there.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying is you got no concrete examples.
Several examples.
Let's move on.
Backstabber.
Who are me and Dave, though?
One of you is that snake you feed the weapons to.
I'm Andre, and am I Andre? Everyone likes
Why
me.
Are you Andre?
I'm really helpful. I'm really muscly.
I can
I've
see
got a bloody
Sean.
great bod.
I can see Sean as a blacksmith. That's more Sean's sort of scene.
Thank you very much. I'll take that. I'll
You
take that as a
think?
compliment.
Yeah, definitely.
Nah,
I can imagine him standing there with like one of those aprons on, like hitting metal. I can imagine
Or
him
just
doing
hammering away all day with his.
I mean, this is all good stuff for the TCGS calendar.
This is
all. Get this in the Google Doc, guys. Come on.
Oily Sean Bell hammering away.
That makes me feel sick.
Well, different strokes for different folks, mate. Who's Dave?
I'm probably.
Gwyn.
What is it?
Gwyn, Lord of Cinder.
I was going to say Caprison.
Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, refused
to.
Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, because he, refused to get off his throne, wouldn't accept that his reign was over, and now look.
Yeah, that all sounds right.
That's out of order, Sean.
I don't even know what I mean by any of that, Dave. I'll be honest. I just thought it sounded funny.
You know exactly what you mean, don't you?
He's bottled it. He's bottled it. He said the word. Okay. Said, actually, I don't mean that.
No, I'm all up for a laugh.
Talking nonsense, wasn't I?
I'm all up for a laugh. Go on, Sean.
Joke. That's too far, was it?
Yeah.
Harry, who emailed the other week, says thank you for your well wishes.
That was me, just being frustrated in that.
Okay. Harry says thank you for your well wishes. My wife is now on her way to recovery. Apologies to Sean for breaking his flow with a badly written email. I got the Google Play Pass and a controller for my phone after your recommendation, and got good value out of it so far. Did Matt or Sean ever get a phone controller in the end? I know James got his clip, but I remember Matt talking about the Razer Kishi, but I don't know if he bought it.
No, I didn't. I did want to, but then obviously xCloud isn't coming to iOS.
Yeah.
So even less reason. I mean, I know now with the latest Xbox app, that
remote play thing's great, man. Streaming. Yeah, it's really good. I was thinking today, I want a bigger phone and I want controller. I've
used that more in the last week than I did for xCloud for a number of weeks. I also need to get another. Oh no, I've got another controller. I've got my old Xbox one. I might do that actually.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Because I didn't want to sync another pad to it, because when I synced my PlayStation pad to.
You can leave your controller synced to the Xbox.
Yeah, because you're in the same house, aren't you?
Yeah.
So as long as it can still...
But
depends
if I press the
away
Xbox button, is that not going to turn the console on?
What?
I don't know.
You want the console on?
No, but... Oh yeah, I guess I'm thinking of something. Okay, cool. Okay, well, if that's how it works, then cool.
Yeah, it's because it comes up on the screen. It says connect to Bluetooth controller, but you just say no, and then you're just playing on the console, and it's just beaming the screen to your phone. It's perfect. It works really well. I was showing off to Harry playing Forza on it, and he was like, "What?" But the problem is my phone's too small for that. Really, I need a bigger screen.
That is the problem, isn't it? Like obviously a lot
the way
of
you're describing it, like. So you're saying you're already at the console, but you can also use the screen as well, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I was thinking like the console's upstairs, but I'm downstairs on my phone.
Yeah. Okay. But you can still connect the controller probably. Range on it's pretty good.
I don't know if it's that good.
That's cool.
Right.
I didn't get the Razer Kishi mostly because of xCloud wasn't coming to the console, but I might just use my regular pad now.
Yeah, mate.
Cool.
So for my Android phone, I got the iPega, that's IPEGA 9087S. Have a look on Amazon. It's like 20 quid and it's fine. Actually, no, it says already got one, so it doesn't matter. Don't know why I'm going through this.
I think I just said xCloud's not coming to console. I'm very tired. What I meant was xCloud doesn't come to iOS.
I mean, none of us even spotted it, so don't worry about it. Yeah. Right, what have we got? What else have we got? Let's do a couple of quick ones, and then we'll get out. It's
like getting to the end of Christmas, and you know what I mean. And you're struggling. You're going through the last of the presents. Yeah, you realise, no, you've just had one. I can't give you one again. Who else have you got here? Oh, this one's to no. Oh, you've opened all yours. Sorry, your Christmas is over. That's what it sounded like.
Gareth Cutliff. So I was listening to a Kane and Rince Sound of Play episode the other week. It was mentioned that Sean was so good at the Mount Your Friends game. You can just call it Mount Your Friends. You don't have to just say Mount Your Friends. He was regarded as an unofficial champion of England and had won some competition back in the day. Does Sean still play and has he still got the mounting skills? I haven't played it for years. I think it'd be very fun to revisit though. You were
the commentator for when we played it on the Kane and Rince thing at EGX, weren't you?
Oh, that's right.
You were trying to give the pro tips, but your pro tips, if I remember correctly, was climb up,
press the buttons. For God's sake,
mount your friends.
Mount that friend.
In the title, guys. Come on.
Okay, now mount that friend. To be fair, the skills on show that day, we needed that level of advice. We did not do well.
Right, last one. We've got an email from Edward Nigma. I'm not going to do the voice.
Can we just do this next week? Seriously.
I'm not going to do the voice. It'll be quick.
Yeah, but have you seen the length of the email? It's ridiculous.
James,
I'm a very fast reader. In quote marks. I'll be honest, this guy's not doing a great job anyway because he's clearly just looking up these up on the internet anyway and then just copied them down. So I think it's fair game to just look up the answers. End quote. James, last week, mocking me. James, I chose something as the answer to be news because you had just come back after 2 weeks and you read out the news. Not doing a great job because I can't even make sense of this.
I know, this is
not doing a great job because I'm looking up on the internet. I concede. Where did you source your news, James? Twice in 1 week you had to look up the internet last week to find news.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Very clever.
Rubbish. Because I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not claiming that I discovered that news, am I? It's
I like the fact that this part of the show is now just James arguing with someone that isn't here. Like he's having a right old Barney with someone that doesn't exist.
I think we need to create a fictional character, James the News Goblin. And
Goblin. Okay, I'm up for that. Good.
Yeah.
So James
I'll get t-shirts ready.
Yeah.
James wants a challenge. How's the parkour going? James wants a challenge. Have you prepared Matt's punishment yet? I think you have enough on your plate, James, so consider this a side dish.
Oh, he's done you, James, the News Goblin. He's done you.
I can already hear you sigh in sheer joy, James. You don't really want a challenge, James. Get Google ready. Turn Alexa on. Ask Jeeves if you want. Place me in any object.
Goblin is on his knees now. This is incredible stuff.
Place me in any object, no matter the size. I will fill it easily. The weight will not rise. A challenge for James. Back out. Say you don't care. Well, this riddle has two answers. Neither are air. See you next week.
Right. Neither are air. Okay.
For a minute, I thought it was, it's the one we say, it's like, oh, what can you put in a barrel and it makes it lighter? And the answer is a hole. But it's not that. It doesn't fit.
Light must be one of them.
Light?
Light. Put me in an object and I fill it.
Yeah.
Light. I don't any
But it
weight.
wouldn't make it any heavier because it doesn't weigh anything. Yeah.
Light.
Yeah, no, it works. Yep.
Light.
Yep. Light.
All right, so I've done my bit. Go on. Sean, you must. Come on.
Place me in any object.
You must. Sean, you must.
No matter the size. I will fill it easily. The weight. Is it a fart? No, it's too close to air, isn't it? Too close to air.
I was going to say, you could say gas. Can't I just have a gas?
Well, no, because that's the same as air, isn't it?
It's not the same as
air. It's not air, though, is it?
No,
it's not the same.
Gas.
You can't just find synonyms for the thing he's told us is not the answer.
Well, no, he says that it has two answers. I'm going with gas.
Yeah, but he said it has two answers. Neither of them are air.
With gas. Come on, Goblin. You got this.
I mean, to be fair, Ed, you've done it. You've beaten James.
No, he hasn't. It's gas.
It's not gas.
No, he said air.
It's clearly not gas.
Gas, okay, it's carbon dioxide. That's not air.
For fuck's sake.
Well, no, what you can also say a smoke or that also doesn't count.
I'm being specific. It's carbon dioxide.
Yeah, but that's part of air, James.
Well, yeah, it's a component
Air's got
of it.
carbon dioxide in it.
Okay, it's water vapour. There you go.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That probably weighs something, doesn't it? Anyone weighed that?
Enough of that.
Just stick. What you need to do. What you need to do to weigh that, you put your Xbox Series X on the scales first, then you blow water vapour into the vents, and then weigh it again, and then just take away the original weight. That's how you do that. Come on, that was good. That was clever. Okay.
It's hydrogen.
I thought that was good.
It's hydrogen.
Ed did also say, I'm very sorry, I promise I'm trying to keep these short. I actually edited this one down.
Okay, right.
Thank you, Ed.
Well,
appreciate that.
That's it. I did my bit, Ed.
You did do your bit.
You know, the news goblin. I mean, that is gonna, James. I know how much that annoys you as well because you haven't commented on it. You're hoping it goes away, but it's not going to go away now because I've said news goblin too many times. James, the news goblin.
Yeah, and I've already opened up a Photoshop file.
I hope you've already written it down as a possible show
it's on the
title
list.
as well. Yeah. Okay. Right, that's it. We're done. We're done for this week. It's been too long this week. Too long. Matt, let's do your bit, shall we?
Yeah, so Thursday, I'm going to be doing a live unboxing on Twitch when the PlayStation arrives.
I'm so excited.
That's I think that's the only unboxing, right? We're doing live. I think it is.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the only one we're doing live.
Unless James wants to do another one.
Yeah, James is going to record his, and then I'll edit it together for YouTube.
Sweet. So
cool.
Don't know when, but sometime Thursday afternoon. Just or it'll be on Twitch. Friday night, James is going to try and stream Alien Isolation again.
Yes, I'm going to try that again. Yeah, hopefully it'll be
Alien
working.
Isolation this Friday at 9. Had some internet troubles on last Friday, but it's be fine this Friday. So this Friday, I'm really looking forward to that because I think it was too scary for me to play. But I'll be able to watch it though. That's Friday at 9. Sunday, I'm playing Super Mario Bros. 2. That's Sunday at 8 o'clock. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming. With that, you get 1 free sub a month. Please go over to our channel, give us your free sub. We really appreciate it. We've got Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS for exclusive podcasts, talk servers, you name it. And tcgs.co is a website where there's a store and information about the other stuff we do.
Just to publicly acknowledge, Twitch subs shot up this month, and I'm pretty sure it's entirely down to Matt's PT stream. So cheers, Matt. Much appreciated.
Well, it's not just that. But it's great having more people watch. And we really appreciate all the support on there. So, and if you miss it live, go to search us on YouTube. They're all on there as well.
Right then. Okay, we're done. Thanks for living it. If I'm not on the show next week, my house move has gone terribly. Just so you know that. Also, if anyone could sort me out a PS5, Sean as well, secondary. If you got one, I'm talking to companies specifically here. I've got no shame. Get in touch at David Turners on Twitter. We'll catch you next week. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.